Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have a very special guest. I met this dude in the early 90s. We were in a video together, actually. Mr. Estevan Oriol. Thank you for being here, man.
Yes, sir.
I think I met you on the set of the House of Pain, Shamrocks, and Shenanigans video.
Yeah.
That would be like 92.
Yep, for sure.
So, yeah, before we get to LA Originals and how amazing that is and how you covered everything of your life, which is incredible, from being like a tour manager and taking photos and documenting everything, I want to take it back just a little bit with you. And were you born out here?
Yeah, I was born at St. John's in Santa Monica, and then I grew up on the west side. And then when I was old enough to move out, I got an apartment in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then I just started living there, working in Hollywood, and got, I was going to the clubs and stuff since I was like 15.
Yeah.
And I used to go to shows before that when I was in junior high. We'd go to like Untouchables and different type of shows like that. So, like that was in the beginning of all every kind of music that is like is popular today. That was when punk rock was beginning, when for us out here, like punk rock, ska, mod, new wave, hip hop, and we all, before all that came, there was classic rock and like funk and soul. So in my house, my mom listened to like our old soul and jazz. She liked like George Benson and Willie Bobo. And then, she listened to the regulars like the Marvin Gaye, Al Green, Earth, Wind and Fire, that type of stuff. So then, as a kid and being in the skate scene and shit like that, we used to listen to, Led Zeppelin and the Doors and Jimi Hendrix and that kind of stuff. So when punk rock and all those things started, flourishing here in the city, we as kids started, trying to go to shows and we'd fake our IDs to go to clubs. And I became real familiar with a lot of the club people, and I started working as a doorman. And that's how I met a lot of people in the music industry.
Yeah.
Like Everlast and Muggs from Cypress and Booyah Tribe and all those guys. So, used to hang out with the guys from Fishbone and Trulio Disgracious, Bronx Style Bob, that whole scene, like the LA scene.
Yeah.
Which, like Red Hot Chili Peppers came out of that era. So I met Muggs through the clubs, but then we started hanging out, during the day and nights I wasn't working. And he took me down to Cypress Ave, and I met B-Real and Sendog, and gave me like the original demo tape that he had made, like Maxwell TDK tape or whatever, and wrote Cypress Hill on it. He's like, "Hey man, I got we got an album, and we're about to get signed to a record label, and they're gonna put out a record." And that was in '89, and the album came out in '91. So I had the album 2 years before it came out. And
Game Changer album.
Hell yeah. So then when that came out, we'd go to the shows locally. I went to New York and went to it was called Red something.
Was it club?
Red Zone maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
In the early 90s?
Yeah, and they played out there for one of those like Jack the Rapper type things. It was like one of those not seminars, but they'd call them some convention, like a hip hop convention type thing. And they were one of the showcases, and we all flew out there and did the shows. And then around 92, Muggs was like, "Hey man, I want you to work with us." And I was like, "Oh, cool, like what am I gonna do? Carry equipment or carry luggage, whatever, And at that time, I was working construction during the day, and I was a doorman at night. And he goes, "Oh no, it's not with us. It's with these new guys that got coming out, some white boys." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Fuck," because at that time it was like Third Base and Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
So it was like, fuck, I hope it's closer to the third base side,
I love third base, man.
And then, within seconds, I'm thinking all this shit. And he goes, oh, you know the homie Everlast from Rhyme Syndicate? I was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, it's him, but he has a group called House of Pain now.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay, dope. Is it through Ice-T and all that? And he's like, no, I'm doing it. I produced some music, and the DJ Lethal, he did some tracks, and another homie that he went to school with, Danny Boy, and I'm going to send you out on tour with them to be a road manager, like a tour manager. And I was like, all right, what do I got to do? He goes, just take him to interviews and check him in the hotels and check him into the flights, and they're going to give you like per diem money, and you give them their little money every week.
Yeah.
And, just keep receipts and shit like that. I was like, yeah, I could do that shit. So he was like, it's not a paid job at first, but it's a first promo tour. You go out in the summer. If you like it, maybe if they start making money, you can get a job out of it. So I asked my bosses, and they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, go for it. You always got a job with us. That's a great opportunity.
For sure.
So I went out on tour with them, and we were doing all the promo shit and going to radio stations, mostly like college radio, because that's how they used to break records back then. Totally. There was no going to a real radio station until you had a hit or a song that was radio friendly. And it seemed kind of like instantly that Jump Around took off.
Hell yeah.
And we started getting on like small tours opening up. And I remember I had like I would carry the DAT tape. And it was a 7-minute DAT, and it was like a couple-minute intro, and then it'd go into Jump Around, and then that was our show.
That was it.
Yeah, it was like 7 minutes.
Oh shit! So that's before the record dropped, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
And they were just leaking out Jump Around and Shamrocks and Shenanigans was the second single, so they were like putting those out, and we started getting on little pop-up shows, and then we went on tour with the Beastie Boys, and
wow,
that's when Jump Around blew up.
Blew the fuck up, right?
Yeah. And then we got kicked off that tour because we were too rowdy.
Yeah.
And then it was on,
Yeah.
Did you realize being a tour manager was much more than you expected?
Oh, yeah. I had no idea. For me, they said, like, Muggs made it sound so easy.
Right.
He was like, all you have to do is check them in the hotel, check them into their flights, and make sure you guys get to interviews and stuff on time.
Babysitting them and shit, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's easy, no problem. But then it became into where I was a full-blown accountant. I had to learn everything about merchandising,
man.
Putting the merch into the venues, counted it in, counted it out, adding up that money, when I drop it off, and then subtracting that from what sold, and going to shows and getting the second half, because the first half was deposited to the agent. So I had to get the second half, and then if we sold out, I had to do the overages. So there was like a lot of shit that wasn't mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I had to just do it, and that was the one thing. I was never scared of it, I just made it work. I made it happen, and I think probably Muggs saw that in me before, and he kind of knew I could do it, because he had already been touring since 783 and Cypress Hill. So for him to bring me in, he had to, be watching me and seeing how I had respect for people, but I wasn't a pushover and shit like that.
Yeah.
So there was a show I'll never forget. It was in New York, and it was us, Ice-T, Onyx, and another band. And Kara Lewis was our booking agent, like Rakim says. And she told me, hey, make sure you get that money before the guys hit the stage. And I go, okay, cool. So I went to the promoter. We were in the dressing room. I go, hey, man, I need to get that second half before we hit the stage. And he was like, okay, yeah, hold on a minute. So the tour manager from Ice-T came over and goes, hey, man, homeboy's going to cut us a check, and then, we can go on stage, but, don't sweat him, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. They told me to get cash because his checks were no good. But I didn't tell him that. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you, man.
Right.
So I went to the promoter. I was like, hey, if you want us to go on stage, I need to get that cash. And he goes, well, didn't the other tour manager talk to you? I go, yeah, but you guys had your own deal. Well, he's in another band, another management, another everything. I'll do my own thing. He goes, well, we've already talked about it. I was like, I don't care. Like, I need to get that money or we don't go on stage. And he kind of put it like we're the bad guys because, like, all the other guys, blacker, hip hop dudes, and like we're the white boys causing the drama, So it's kind of like, oh, okay, man, you're not a team player, And I was like, no, they didn't even like that, man. It's like they told me to get the money before I went on stage because you guys, don't always pay your bills, like straight out, like you guys don't do business right. So if you want them to go on stage, I need the money or we go home. To me, it don't matter. I don't care. Right. I get paid the same weekly salary no matter what. So you want to give me the money? Cool. If you don't, cool. He goes, well, how am I supposed to get the money? I go, well, let's go to the door. There's people in here.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the door. If all those other dudes are taking a check, then there'll be enough cash for us. And he's all, okay, well, so we go to the door and they were short. So he goes, okay, well, will you take this? And I go, let's go to the bar. Wow. So we went to the bar, and there was the rest of the money was there. And I shook his hand. I go, thank you, man. You got a show. And he was salty, but that was the orders that I got. I'm not going to cause problems on my camp, for my job, because this dude don't pay his bills. So I got the money. They killed it in the show, and
I was there. It was a crazy show.
Yeah, the other dudes were mad at me because I
took care of your business.
Walked homeboy around to all the cash registers and cleaned them out. But at the end, I heard that they didn't get the checks.
Oh wow!
The checks bounced. So we were the only band that got paid, and it was because I had to walk up homeboy to each register. And
but you got it done,
shake him down,
Yeah. I met Tupac at that show. He was there.
Yeah.
And there was photos. There's a photo of me in House of Pain in that Who Shot You book, and that was from that show.
Man.
Because he was backstage with Ice-T and shit.
That's one of the bummers that I have in my life is that I didn't shoot all the shit that I saw. Like, I'm pissed that I didn't. There's so much shit I missed. Like,
but you did capture a lot, though.
Yeah. Tupac. Like I was with those two dudes a few times.
Quite a bit of footage though from being on the road and shooting, but you mean early on?
Some of these moments,
Like I in the beginning, I just had a camera. Like it was more like a tourist type thing. Like if we went to Paris, I'd take a picture of the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if we went to New York, I'd go to the top of the Empire State Building and take a picture of the Twin Towers. I have those kind of shots.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea, like at that time while you were taking photos, that they could be used in the future?
Never.
Okay.
I never thought I was going to be a photographer even. I thought
that's what I was going to ask you.
I thought I was going to be, how road guys dress, like crew guys. Yep. They have like the cargo shorts and those kind of like, I don't know if they're like hiking boots or some type of like high top shoes.
Yeah.
They're like light green. Or like tan,
earth tones.
Yeah, earth tones, and they go with the cargo shoes, and then they have free shirts that they got from every show.
Yeah,
and their hair's shot out, and they have like a dad hat. They all have the same uniform. And I saw myself as that guy, just not dressing like that.
Right.
I was gonna. In the beginning, I was like, because we were so busy, I never had to do the thing where I'm calling another band or calling another management company to try to book another tour because we were coming off of a tour to where I'd have to tour manage another band to stay working. Like we were nonstop until they went the first album like a year and a half, 2 years, the second album a year, and then they broke up. And so I was like, it was like fucking, we hit the pavement and never stopped.
Yeah.
And it was insane and the most incredible experience of my life. And then when they broke up, I was like, fuck, now what do I do? You know, I'm not trying to go back to doing construction, you know, fucking sanding wood for fucking 8 hours and, you know, staining it and doing all this shit. So I called B and I go, hey, man, you know, Be Real from Cypress Hill. I said, hey, these dudes are done. So, hey, I just called to tell you guys thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, that was like the summer vacation that lasted 3 years.
That's sick.
And it was like the best time of my life. And I'm really grateful for everything that you, Muggs, and Sin, and of course, you know, House of Pain did for me.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, well, check it out. Our tour manager just fucked up and he's out. Do you want to roll with us? And I go, fuck yeah. Well, you know, what's up? They go, the first show is kind of like your audition kind of, you know, to see if you could kick it with the big boys, you know. And it's the Woodstock 94.
Damn.
So
that's a crazy one too.
Yeah, the sickest show I've ever been to in my life. So they're like, Bobo, Eric Bobo, which is Willie Bobo's son, which my mom used to go and see him like every week.
I didn't know that.
At
That's
a jazz club and out there by the beach. So, you know, fucking 10 years later, I'm supposed to meet up with his son.
That's crazy.
My mom has seen play live with his dad. I'm supposed to meet up with him at the airport in New York. He was coming from Miami. I'm coming from LA. And they were taking us. It was so fucking like a acid trip that I don't remember if we went to JFK or LaGuardia, how we got from there to wherever we went. And we got on an airplane, helicopter.
Damn.
And there was a 4-seater aside from the pilot and the co-pilot. So there was them two in the 4 seats in the back. And it was me and Bobo and 2 band members from Jefferson Starship.
Oh shit.
Which,
your first time in a helicopter too, right?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure, man.
And here we are going with 2 dudes from the original Woodstock. That White Rabbit is one of my favorite songs.
That's cool, man.
So I'm like fucking starstruck, but I'm playing it cool. I didn't take no pictures. Another time I felt like a fucking dumbass, you know, like who wouldn't have fucking taken a picture
in a helicopter these dudes
in a helicopter with 2 dudes from Jefferson Starship?
It's so random. It's crazy.
Only me.
Yeah,
I'm probably the only idiot that never thought of that shit, you know.
It's crazy.
But here I had a camera, but I was so like into being cool and not fucking with people and bugging them
totally
that I didn't ask Tupac for the picture at that show.
Yeah.
I didn't ask fucking Jefferson Starship for the picture of, which they would have even loved to have, a fucking just a quick snapshot of them flying in a helicopter over 500,000 people in the backstage into the Woodstock.
It's fucking amazing, man.
And we get on, we're like, okay, we're here. You know,
wow,
like,
dude.
Who wouldn't have wanted that picture?
Yeah,
but
you in the moment though and shit.
Like, I was like tripping the whole time. Like I said, I felt like I'm on an acid trip. Like the whole thing is surreal to me. So we get there, we meet up with the band, and they're like, "All right, you know, you got to set up stage. You know, set up the equipment.
Yeah.
You know, we have a couple of our crew guys." And Henry Rollins was on stage with the Henry Rollins band. And he was, you know, he was doing his thing and fucking in his black shorts, no shirt, no shoes.
Classic
just
shit.
Shorts and the mic. And I was like, man, that motherfucker's G'd up, you know? Like, that's gangster right there. Like, he was one of the legends from, like I said, I grew up when punk rock was coming out. And, you know, those were the dudes that were ripping up the clubs, you know?
Yeah.
So I seen him. I'm like, God damn, that's motherfucking Henry Rollins. And look at, 500,000 people. This is the shit, you know? So we got our shit ready. And we're sound checking it in the backstage. And then Cypress Hill comes out. And that shit just went bananas. Like,
sure, man.
It had been raining the days before. So the grounds people had put sheets of plywood all over. I'd say we're from the front of the stage to the front of house. in between there and on both sides of front of the house, it was just, I don't know how many sheets of fucking plywood, hundreds of them, you know?
Damn.
To block the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when Cypress came out, it just went fucking, I think the first song was Kill a Man. It was like, dude,
The whole crowd.
dude, and the crowd just went, beep, and the fucking crowd just went crazy. Motherfuckers started peeling up the plywood and putting it over their head and throwing like some little 110-pound dude up there, and he's literally crowd surfing on a piece of plywood.
Wow,
across the whole crowd, and then they throwing girls up, and it just went berserk, you know? And we're like, fuck, look at this shit. Like, you really felt like you were at the first Woodstock, because I'd seen all the videos and shit. I was like, this is fucking sick.
That's
you know,
amazing,
like,
man.
you know, with House of Pain, we've been to festivals with like 50,000 people, 80,000 people, and that was like out of control. But now you're with 500,000 people, and we were the group that kicked off the crowd. You know, like
set the whole thing off.
There was like moshing, slamming, slam pit,
everything.
You know, nobody did that shit to hip hop music. You know, except when House of Pain and Cypress came out. Yeah, they made it like popular in rap. Because if you started doing that shit to like X-Clan or anybody,
Brand Nubian, like, or somebody,
Brand Nubian or Ice-T, or you know, like Onyx, it became
Slam,
you know, normal.
Yeah,
but we had already been doing that shit in clubs because we come from that world. You know, we come from LA. There was punk rock. You know, there slamming was normal.
But there was a New York vibe to those bands too. Not to carry, but the Cypress video was shot in Astor Place. It was shot in New York, and House of Pain looked like hardcore kids. So like, there was this connection with us, the New York hardcore kids, and those groups because they looked like hardcore kids, tatted up, shaved heads, and we loved hip hop as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was that connection.
And even that wasn't big in hip hop.
Nah,
you know, like white and Mexican kids, bald headed and tattoos was not normal. You know, it was like, you know, we came out when there was Das Effects. Craig Mack. Fucking,
who else is big out there?
Naughty by Nature. New School, Naughty by Nature. All those, Black
Moon, Black Sheep.
You know, like those type of groups. And then we came out. People thought we were all from New York. They thought
I did too, man.
They thought Cypress was from New York and House of Pain was from Boston because they're Irish.
Ooh, yeah.
I always thought that.
You know, the labels were in New York, so we always had to go out there. So New York was like our second home, and we had a lot of homies. Like they were like family, like brothers. Like every time we wouldn't go to New York without what they say now checking in. But for us, it was calling the homies. Hey, we're coming.
Yeah,
get your homies. Come to the show. We got 20 tickets. Because we didn't know nobody. We didn't have family.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, Caves, bring the Lords of Brooklyn. Toby, you come.
Yeah.
You know, everybody come through.
Isaac.
Isaac. And we're just going to fucking go buck wild.
Sick. I love that the West Coast, East Coast connection back then, too. It really connected the hardcore and the hip hop, for sure.
And it went, you know, off the chain. But then after that Woodstock show, I mean... Well, the funny thing about that...
You did all right, though. Like,
well, here's the good part about it. The managers went. Of course, you know, the managers always show up to the cool, big shit.
Yeah.
And they floss and take up half of the guest list. They're like, you know, I'm going to fly out first class on this one. You guys recoup that on your budget. And then...
Exactly.
And also we need half of the tickets, you know, for business. You know, business people.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So I would have to finagle all the time to get extra passes and shit like that. But this show, the managers came and when the band came off, you know how it is. Like when you're on a festival situation, you get the van to take you back to the hotel or whatever, the transportation one time. And it's when you get off stage. When you get off stage, get in the van, you get out of there. Or you're on your own. You find your own way. You meet some broad or you meet some cool homies, and you roll back to the hotel with them. So the manager got so excited. Oh, fucking great show! You guys killed it. Let's go. Takes everybody to the hotel in the van, and I had all the equipment. So I got all the equipment together and I'm stacking it up. You know, the anvil case is about like 10 anvil cases.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, man, where's everybody at? Like, and I go to the green room, nobody's there. I go to the dressing room, nobody's there. I went to where the food is, nobody's there. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Where's everybody at? And back then, I don't think, 94, we might have had the brick phone.
Big ass phones, dude. Yeah.
Or the black Motorola with the flip. I don't remember which. Somehow, some way, I got in touch with the phone and I called the manager. And he was like, oh, we left, dude. And I was like, well, cool. I got fucking 10 anvil cases and no ride. He goes, well, what do you mean no ride? I go, because you guys, every van is taken by each band in their slot of time.
Yeah.
You guys took it. So now the next band gets the next one. The next band gets the next one. I'm fucked.
Stuck there and shit. Yeah.
So luckily, you know, I had some finesse and I, you know, knew how to talk my way into do some shit. I met somebody who had a van. And they drove me like 4 hours or whatever the fuck it was back to the hotel with the equipment. You know, I just broke them off some petty cash and they were cool.
Yeah.
But what's the chances of that? Meeting some random motherfucker with a van backstage that'll be like, oh, yeah. And, you know.
You didn't have any beef with the manager where you're like, yo, bro, you come in and you screwed
up
they're
this like,
whole program.
Like they're like, whatever. You know, that's your, you know, welcome to Cypress Hill, tour managing. You know, like, it was kind of like hazing me, you know.
Right.
Like, that's how I felt. Like, they're just like, let's see what he's made of, you know.
Yeah.
Let's leave him there with all the fucking equipment and see if he could pull through. If he does this, he's in.
Wow.
And you did it.
Yeah, I did it, and there was the craziest shit, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, and then I was on tour with them from 94 to 2005.
Fuck.
You know, nonstop. And, you know, like I said, I never had to call another band and go on tour with them as like a crew guy, you know? I never had to be like, oh, hey, man, it was cool working with you guys. You know, I'm going to go out on tour with Pearl Jam this next month. When I get home, I got to head out on the road with Pearl Jam to South America or Sepultura to Europe. You know, like it never went that way for me.
Right.
I was lucky to stick with my own band, my own homies, and we were like a family on the road. And we never, you know, I never had to go out there. Cool. I did 2 times. I worked with a group called Proper Grounds.
Yeah, we're Proper Grounds, yeah.
And I went on one tour with them. It was a Danzig tour.
Sick.
I don't know if you went to those shows, but
I remember that.
That shit was crazy as a motherfucker. And
that shit is wild, bro, yeah.
And then the other tour I did was Candlebox.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I did their first promo tour.
Dude.
But that was when we had time off, and my homie was the manager of them, and he was like, hey, man, can you road manage other bands? I was like, I don't see why not. As long as I'm home before we go on tour, you know, on the next one.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I want you to do Proper Grounds. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. So I went out with them for a couple weeks with Danzig.
Damn.
And then another time later on, I went out with Candlebox. Because that was the first, Proper Grounds was the first group that signed to Madonna's label.
Yeah, Maverick, yeah.
And Candlebox was the second one.
Yeah, we got dissed for Candlebox. Short story. I met Guy Osseri at the night Cypress Hill played at CBGB's. It was the night before Lollapalooza got rained out. I'm sure you were there. Madonna was there. Mm-hmm. Isaac, all of us were there. We met Madonna that night. I met Guy Osseri. Somehow he ended up checking out my band, and he came to our showcase for my band H2O. And then we got an email on that following Monday that they chose a harder band that's more accessible for the radio, and they chose Candlebox over my band. That's what happened.
That's crazy.
On Maverick, yeah.
Because it's like different types of music, even like those guys were like Seattle grunge.
Yeah,
is that what they called it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you remember that show at CB's though? It was
you guys
Cypress and Booyah Tribe or some shows the night before. So when you were out of high school doing construction, what did you want to do? Like when you graduated, You graduated?
Barely. I think it's either a 2.0 or a 2.8 is a D plus.
Okay.
I don't remember, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that's what I graduated with, a D plus.
But you made it out though.
And I was struggling to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so
did you hate school?
I I like the girls, you know, and like smoking weed. I like to go somewhere where I
Social.
could be with friends.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like fuck around, and that's what it was for me. For me, it's like fucking around all the time because we would smoke weed going to school.
Okay.
And back then in the 80s, we had like chronic. You know, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Which
I love the
don't know.
record. That's all I know.
What is a weed? What's chronic? Like indica? Kush.
It's called Kush now, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Kush, and there's 50 brands of it. But back then, it was just you had chronic, or you had stress weed.
Okay.
Which had seeds in it and sticks.
Yeah.
And that shit didn't even get you high. Or you had Thai sticks.
Okay.
It was like chocolate Thai.
I heard of that,
like
yeah.
a bunch of little buds on a stick, and it looked kind of like a big corn dog, but it really looked like a shit on a skewer.
Okay.
And you just pick off the bud and, you know.
So that was your shit back then, yeah.
So, but we had chronic every day on the way to school, and we'd just be getting blasted going to school and just be stuck on stupid. So we would always take a easy class the first period.
Okay.
So we didn't have to do too much. You know, like they would tell me to read, and I'd be like 4 pages behind.
Oh shit!
They're like, no, we're on page 54. You're on 50. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, you know.
Were your parents strict about grades and stuff when you were in school?
Yeah, my mom was pretty strict, but what can you do?
Yeah.
You know, like you're not going to school with the kid, and the kid's just coming home with some fucking report card, and you're like, what the fuck, man? You know, I thought you were doing good. And I go, yeah. Me too.
So so you just wanted you were happy and content with just doing construction.
Well, that's what all the people did.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody, like they did construction, or like I had dishwashing jobs as a youth, dishwashing, working on fishing boats.
Wow. Okay.
Construction, working at supermarkets, delivering for liquor stores. Then I started doing deliveries for on a motorcycle. It was called a motorcycle courier.
Yeah.
So I'd drive all around town and drop off packages, and the more packages I'd drop off, the more money I would get. So I was just flying, racing around town.
Yeah.
With a backpack with, you know, a bunch of packages and
like a bike messenger in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here we had motorcycles, and there was a, you know, full blown traffic hour. That's when everybody wanted their shit, like between like 3 and 6. So the reason they had motorcycles and not bikes is because everything's so spread out.
Yeah. So
and we could cut the lanes.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, where I got good at riding bikes, because, you know, you have 30 minutes to get there, and you want to get there in 20 so you could get another package off. You know, you're white lining it the whole time and going fast when cars were stopped, you know.
How old were you when you had that job?
I think I was 18.
Oh, shit, okay.
And
you've been working nonstop since you were out of high school, just working and...
Well, my first job I was like 12 years old. I used to work at a hot dog stand.
Shit, 12, that's crazy.
And then the guy, you know, like that was a summer job.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. And then I started working at fishing boats and shit like that, and got into construction and working at markets and, you know, delivery shit. But
yeah.
I was always a hard worker.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned that from my mom, and I think the way that I grew up made me either I was going to settle for the least, or I was going to push myself to get more. And I saw the way my mom struggled with paying bills and how hard it was for us to live. My mom was disabled, so it was hard for us to live off what the government gave us.
Gotcha.
And my mom was always stressed out, like, you know, we got these bills, and, you know, it was one of those, you know, eat everything off of your plate. You know, that shit costs a lot of money. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're finishing that. If you don't finish it, put it in the refrigerator, finish it later. Not in a mean way, but like, you know, we don't got it.
Yeah, it's reality,
You know, I always thought, like, man, I don't want to do this forever, you know?
Yeah.
So I would always, you know, sometimes I would, you know, get some extra shit at work, you know, and, you know, I was go out to the trash. Like, it was my turn to take some fucking, to go do the carts in the parking lot at the supermarket, and I might push a fucking cart full of food out there.
Damn.
You know, and just load it in the car, you know. But I was, you know, I had to think of like different ways, be creative to have more shit, you know, because I didn't really want to struggle all that like that, you know.
Yeah.
To me, it wasn't a good feeling, like the stress and stuff. So I always try to push myself to do more. And my mom was like, you know, you just gotta work hard, and you know, pushing me to work hard. And so I always was like, go, you know.
Yeah.
Get that check.
So when she saw you on the road touring with bands, was she
still
worried
didn't
about
think
you,
of it
or?
as a real job.
Yeah.
And then you know, different things were happening, you know, like I had a girl friend that she told the cops that I did home invasion at her house.
Oh fuck, dude.
And it was a girl that I broke up with.
Yeah.
So she was like gonna fuck me over, you know.
Damn.
So she told her homegirl like, yeah, fucking, you know, say that you saw him with me, you know, shit like that. So
holy shit.
You know, even though I'm on tour, everything's going great. I still have detectives calling my house.
Holy
still
shit.
Having to get a lawyer that, you know, Everlast sponsored me with, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, fuck that, homie. I know you didn't do that shit. I got five Gs right now on the retainer, you know.
That's awesome.
I got off, DA reject, all that bullshit. But
wow, just having that stress back home and you're out there fucking
they're
traveling.
calling my mom. She's like, what did you do? And I go, nothing. She's like, why are the fucking cops calling me? I go, I don't know. What are they calling you for? They said you robbed the house. I go, Mom, come on, man. Like, that ain't me, you know?
Yeah.
I got one of the best jobs I've ever had in my life. Why am I going to go do some dumbass shit like that?
Yeah.
It all worked out in the end like everything else. And,
but still.
You know, but to her, I'm touring around with a rap group that, you know, looks kind of rowdy.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting into trouble on the road. I'm getting in trouble when I'm not even home, at home. You know, like, shit was still going buck wild for you know, to her.
Yeah. So when did you decide to get a camera when you started touring with them? Like, when did you start thinking I'm going to start taking photos?
Well, in 89, I bought a 64 Impala.
Okay.
And I used to roll it around. We call them a hoopty.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't fixed up or nothing. It had like rust holes in it. And the rims were like rusty, and, you know, but it was an old school car. The interior was probably ripped a little bit, but that was my dream car because I had seen my cousin and, you know, I'd seen the lowriding scene. So I was like, man, I want a fucking 64. And
sick.
I ended up getting one, and I drove around for a couple of years while, you know, I couldn't pay to make it a lowrider.
Yeah. And
then I think I started building it around 91. And like when I started working with House of Pain, I started coming into some more money.
Yeah.
So I was able to go all out and make it a lowrider. Like, you know, put the car here, engine here, interior here, chrome here, polished parts here. You know, spread it all out. And as I would come home from tour, go to the chrome shop, take the chrome out. Go to the upholstery shop, take the upholstery out.
Yeah.
And it took like maybe 2 years, from like 92 to 94. And during that time, my dad seen me going from lowriding to getting in the lowrider club in East LA to going worldwide, you know, touring with House of Pain.
Yeah.
And then Cypress Hill. But during the House of Pain shit, he was like, hey, man, you know, we got this extra camera, me and my wife, you should, you know, take it out there with you and take pictures of all this shit. You're around some cool stuff. So at first I was kind of embarrassed because, you know, cameras weren't cool back then. You were like
good point.
a goofball or corny dude or, you know, like.
So true.
It is true.
There was nothing cool about having a camera. And that's part of the reason I missed so many photo shoots is because I was embarrassed to ask somebody, hey, can I take a picture of you?
It is kind of weird back. Think about that. Can I get a photo of you, dude? Like back then, it sounds so weird to say
like,
that.
What are you, a
but
groupie?
This was like, you know, it wasn't digital camera. You know, it's like definitely a film camera. So it's very different. You know, it takes a lot of know-how to lighting and everything like that to put it into person. You know, it's not as easy as the digital just grab and shoot. So
and at that time, the most known type of photographers were paparazzis, tourists, or the super high-end professionals, like the guys that would shoot all the music, shoot the fashion magazines, like those type of dudes. And I wasn't none of those. So I felt embarrassed, like, to bring out my camera and ask people to take pictures. So I had to get comfortable with it, shooting just my guys, like the House of Pain guys backstage, or when we'd go to New York, I'd shoot a couple pictures with the homies there.
Yeah.
Or I'd, when I'm low riding, I shoot my own car club and my own car and my homies. And then as I started going on tour, shooting other bands playing, as I started low riding more, I started shooting like other people in the lowrider world, like at car shows.
Yeah.
And it just started opening up from there. And then I was building confidence doing that. And I'd bring back my pictures and I'd look at them and be like, fuck, that's pretty cool. Like, I think I got some cool shots. And then my homies would come over and be like, hey, let's see those pictures from the Woodstock show or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, here. And they'd be like, fuck, this shit looks like Time Magazine or Life Magazine. I'd be like,
nice.
I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So early on, I was getting good response.
Yeah.
And I had a photo lab called Focus. I think there's it's right next to American Rag on La Brea.
Oh yeah, I know this.
And the lady that owned it, my dad used to get his film done there by the dad.
Okay.
And so when I went there, it was the daughter that ran the shop, and she always used to develop my film. And she was like, "Hey, how come you never blow up your film? You only just develop it, but you never make prints."
Mm.
And I was like, I'm not into it like that. I don't really like, for what? What am I going to do? But I don't even know. I wasn't thinking, but I was collecting records. So I would put my records in the milk crates that we'd go to in the alleys and steal milk crates from behind restaurants. And you put your records in there.
Digging in the crates. Yeah.
Right. So I did that with my photos because they would come in a big envelope, like almost the size of a record.
Yeah. And
there would be the contact or proof sheets in there. And the negatives, and you get a sheet that shows all 36 photos. So I had all my photos in a milk crate in the trunk of my car, and each time I would get more, I would just get another milk crate. And so like my car was like my office, my trunk.
Yeah. So
I would roll everywhere with like 2 milk crates full of photography.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Hey, how come you never blow that shit up?" I was like, "I don't know, for what?" And she's like, let me blow some up and put them in the lobby of the photo lab. And if I sell them, I'll give you all the money. I just want to see what'll happen.
Holy shit.
So I put them up there. I think it was 11 photos. 8 of them sold.
Damn.
And she was like, I've never had any one photographer sell that many photos. And the guys that do sell them, because they were like big time photographers that showed there, they would sell them, photos of celebrities. Yeah. So she was like, I never had this many pictures of people that were just normal people sell like that. Anybody, not even celebrities. And I was like, she goes, I think you should take it serious. And I was like, I go, yeah. And then I thought about it, like when I was driving, I'm like, fuck. The lady that does all the biggest dudes in LA, and even foreigners that come from out of town to work in LA.
She's giving so much props.
She's doing their film, and she thinks that I'm doing something good. Like, maybe I'm onto something.
Like you were documenting something that nobody was really documenting before.
Exactly.
All the stuff that, like, us on the East Coast are growing up, watching, like, the West Coast movies and the Lowriders and American Me and Blood In, Blood Out. You were, like, you were in that world, and you were documenting things, but you were also connected to punk rock and skateboarding and hip-hop and everything. So that's why I think you're one of the most amazing photographers, because you cover all the cultures that I grew up loving, and you made them all like equal. They all meshed together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the dudes that were doing it before me was like Block from Venice, Brian Cross, B+, and another homie of mine, Sean Mortensen. He passed away. So there was like a couple people in LA that were shooting all those same cultures. Glenn Friedman came before them.
Punk rock skateboarding,
like he came before them. He had all the skateboard punk hip hop shit, but he didn't have like the gangster and lowrider shit. So
exactly, West Coast.
I was like, kind of making my own lane, but the way I grew up is we're all about originality. Yeah. And being in your own lane. Like if you came out singing, rapping, dressing, anything like anybody else, you were called a biter, and that was weak. Now
or swagger jacker,
yeah, swagger jacker. Like now it's cool if everybody has the same shit. Like, you're not cool unless you wear skinny jeans. You're not cool unless you wear it. So now it's like, okay, if I don't have skinny jeans, then I'm not cool. But it's like everybody had their own shit going on.
Yeah,
everybody had their own look.
True. Yeah.
We all try to rock Cortezes on the East Coast because we saw everybody out here doing that and all the movies and videos. And then when I moved out here, I still rock Cortez, had my head shaved. I'll never forget, I was coming out of Trader Joe's on my bicycle and some dude pulled up next to me in the car. He's like, just like in the movies, I just moved here in Detroit Street in the Bray. He's like, where you from, Holmes? And I was like, yo, I'm from New York. He's like, all right, and he drove away. I was like, holy shit, this is some real shit out here. It's like not Menace to Society, all these movies we watch. It's like coming out and experiencing
those 3 words could change your life.
I know.
Right there. Like,
I guess I was lucky I was from New York too.
That was the best thing you could have said. Because if you would have been like, oh, I live right here. I live on Detroit.
Yeah.
In the, just like not knowing, they'd be like, oh, you're from around here, fool? And then they'd say their neighborhood, and then you'd be like,
but I'd seen it in I've seen it in the movies though, you know what I mean? And then
excuse me, sir, I
never got fucked with by the cops in New York ever. And twice when I first moved, I had no license because I was from New York. Twice on my bicycle, pulled over by the cops. Where you from, Holmes? What set you from, Holmes? Put me up against the wall, checking my pulse on Santa Monica Boulevard. Me and my wife twice. Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm from New York. I show my ID. I said, I'm in a band. I'm like, I'm not. But because I had a shaved head and the way I looked, it never happened to me in New York, dude.
Yeah, the 90s was off the chain.
Yeah.
In LA, they used to do that shit to me all the time. Pull me over, pull me out of the car, make me take my shirt off. And they get out index cards and they write down your name, your license, your license plate, and every single tattoo you had. Right. And like one time I was in Culver City and they had me with my fucking shirt off.
Damn.
And they're like, let me see your legs. Do you have tattoos on your legs? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And they go, lift up your legs. So I'm lifting up my pant legs and they go, higher. And I go, well, I got fucking tattoos all over my legs, and they're like, well, we need to document that. So I was like, well, fuck it then. And I pulled I had, boxers on. I undid my pants and just let my pants fall and I raised my hands up. I go, there you go. That's what you want to see?
Damn.
I go, you don't reach behind the little door right there though. And my homie's mom and dad drove by and they're like, ay, mijo, what happened? We saw the police. They had you with your pants down and they're like writing your tattoos down. I was like, yeah, it's okay. They're fucking idiots. But, that was the early 90s. We were all getting Rodney King way before that shit ever came out.
I never seen it before in my life because it wasn't like that in New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I only seen the movies.
We all took a couple beatings in the 90s, by the cops. It was like, it was normal.
Yeah.
It was crazy and like, we didn't give a fuck. Like, we were like, oh, hey, this fool, he's going to fucking let me have it.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be searching you up your leg and they just they're like, yeah, we got to search you. You see, you have any weapons in your socks or drugs in your socks or anything? And they'd be patting your leg down and then they just fucking rip their hand right up and like hit you in the balls and shit. You're like, oh, you got your hands up on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what the fuck, man? You go, you want to go to the county jail? Nope. They're like, shut the fuck up. Let us do what we got to do and then we'll let you go.
But you were documenting some grimy spots and you just brought real people out. Like, these are humans. These aren't just people you're judging because they're tattoos. But you made some grimy spots so beautiful, and a lot of your photos just have so much life in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you captured is something that nobody else ever done, I think.
Yeah, there's other people that have shot the same genres that I shot before me, and there will be way after me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just try to do it my own way.
Yeah.
In my own style. That's how we grew up back in the day,
Yeah.
You don't bite nobody's shit. And now it's like my pictures are like the skinny jeans, If you ain't doing pictures like me, then you're out of the loop.
Yeah. When did you feel like you had a love and a passion? Like, oh shit, I'm really doing this. Like, I have a skill. And like, the lady sold some photos for you. Like,
I would say after that.
Yeah, like, holy shit, I want to do this. Like,
yeah, like right after she told me that, I felt like I was onto something. And then because I was tour managing, I learned, well, because I was a tour manager, I would get everything. I would get all the press because I had to set up press. I would get all the budgets for photo shoots, dates, times, contacts, whatever the fuck, contact sheets, like
everything.
The day of show, who's going to come,
what
the time. Yeah, like I forget what the fuck it's
set
called.
Set times or day sheets or just everything. Yeah,
but of like the photo shoots and the video shoots.
Okay.
So I'm seeing everything, like what time this guy gets here, that guy, all what their names
budgets,
are.
everything.
The budgets, everything. So I'm learning all those words, like usage fees and this, that, and the other. So people are hitting me up going, hey, like I would notice photographers because I was the guy that set up the press, and the label would send me a fax and they'd be like, hey, tomorrow you have 4 interviews, so get the guys to do an hour of press. So I'd have to set up each press person with 15 minutes.
Okay.
So 4 people in an hour, 15 minutes each, and it's a photographer and an interviewer. So you figure if the person writing a story for like an 8 or 10 page thing takes up the 10 minutes, then the photographer gets 5. And I would see these dudes struggling trying to get good shots that would go with a 10-page story of a band that's multi-platinum, that's the biggest fucking thing on MTV or on the radio, and they're supposed to get these incredible shots to fill up, the 10 pages, and they were struggling. So I would tell the magazine, like, hey, man, like, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, but I was like, hey, if you need any pictures of them, like, on stage or backstage, I take pictures of the band. And they would look at me like, motherfucker, you out of your mind? Like, this is a real photographer here. And I was like, and at that time I would take my photos to the 1 hour photo. So I had these little photo albums. Yeah. And I would show them. And the lady that, from the photo lab, she would make me these real little nice 5x7 black and white prints. So when I show my photo album, everybody's used to seeing the glossy color pictures where like the pictures like this and the fucking out of focus or this, that, and the other,
some artsy shit,
and I'm showing them perfectly done fucking professional black and white prints, like ready for an art show. And I would show the magazine. They're like, you did these? I go, yeah. And they're like, so are you a photographer? I go, no, I'm the tour manager. Like, I'm the guy that gets them a sandwich or a coffee or hot tea for their throat. Or
do everything,
I fucking break down the turntables, or, I go to the hotel and get their fucking shirt that they forgot or whatever the fuck. That's me. Yeah. And they're like, let us put you in touch with the editor because we think you got some good shots and we could pay you to. And I was like, how much? And they're like, like usually we pay like $500. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, the film costs $25. I'm going to make $475 profit off of $25. Here you go. Yeah. Like, I was ready to give them the fucking film, the negatives, everything. And be like, sorry about the doggy.
It's all good.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Luckily I wasn't, they were cool and they were like, oh, no. We'll pick up a photo and you make a print and send us the print. Yeah. And you keep everything. And I was like, cool. And so what's the deal? And they're like, well, it's $500 usage fee. We can use the photo for 3 months. You can't use it in any other magazine that's competitive to ours. Yeah. But if you want to sell it to a European or Asian market, that's cool. Just as long as it's not in the States.
That's sick.
And in our genre. And I was like, okay, like you can't sell, like if you're shooting for the XXL, you can't sell it to the source within 3 months. So I'm learning all that verbiage and like, all the terms that they use. And I just started hitting up the next magazine that come in like, hey, now I had a little game. Yeah. And then I'd be like, then I started getting like, I started thinking like, okay, this is a cool little hustle. If I can make 500, 200, 2 G's a month extra just shooting a couple pictures to a couple magazines, like I'm cool.
Sick, yeah.
On top of what I'm making, because I had a couple other hustles that I was doing on the road, and I was doing all right. I had extra money for my lowrider. I started collecting records. Me, DJ Lito, Muggs, we'd go Alchemist. We go out record shopping at these fucking records. I'm buying up all these old soul and old hip hop and old classic rock vinyls. And, you know, I was like, this is great, you know? So, then, I started doing like magazine shit when I'd come home from touring. The guys would be like, hey, we're going to take a month off. You know, we're fucking tired. We've been touring for 6 months. Yeah. Cool. I'm calling magazines like, hey, my name's Estevan Oriol. I'm the tour manager of Cypress Hill. I got all these photos, and they're like, well, do you have any of, you know, who were you on tour with? I'd be like, oh, like Sonic Youth and Hole and Busta Rhymes on this tour. I was on Tribe Called Quest with this one, the Fugees on that one. Okay, we'd love to see Sonic Youth and the Fugees. You got that? I go, I got that.
Damn.
Then I'm like, now I got the hustle. Like, I'm like,
branching
I'm shooting every fucking band that I go on tour with, and I'm calling every kind of magazine, tattoo magazines. You know, they want fucking rock stars with tattoos. I got those.
And you always love to work with black and white.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my shit.
Right.
Because that's all I knew, and that's what that lab specialized in.
And was your father a photographer? Because you mentioned that he would take his photos to the shop.
Yeah, he did it too, but not at the steady level that I was doing it on. He did it more as like a here and there type of work, you know, because it's hard to get photography jobs.
Absolutely,
that paid. And my dad was like, you know, I'm swinging for the fences. Fuck a base hit, you know.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get these big budget jobs, and he would get one. And when you do those kind of work, you get, you know, that's a couple months.
Yeah.
You don't got
to do photography like profiles or people, or
he liked doing more documenting and portraits.
Nice.
Which is what I became, you know, good at doing.
Yeah.
And then the more photos I would show him, he would show me shit, and I'd be like, fuck, man, you fucking badass. Like,
good skills, yeah.
I bet when I told him I was going to lowride in this lowrider club in East LA, he's all, yeah, I heard of them. I go, oh, yeah, they're fucking like really good car club, and they're the shit, you know. And he goes, I think I got pictures of them. And I go, yeah? He goes, yeah. He goes, let me look. And he looks. Sure enough, he has pictures of the president, the vice president.
Wow, dude.
You know, legendary cars. And I was like, hey, Dad, can I take these to get some prints made and you know, show the guys? He's like, yeah, go for it. I show them. They go, hey, where'd you get these pictures? That was from 1982 at this fucking show. I remember that day. And
damn,
we came in bumping, you know, How Many More Times by Led Zeppelin, you know, going 5 more miles. You know, we were just, you know, spanking that ass, because they would come in a lineup with like 10 cars and be like, you know, how many more times do we got to do this to fuck you guys up? You know, the other cars, you know. And I was like, damn, and I'm tripping out listening to these stories, and those are getting sparked off of these photos. You know, so I started like seeing the power of a photo, of how much emotions and memories and different things that it would bring out in people.
Yeah.
And people would be, you know, there's so much that comes out of a photo when you show different photos of different people.
100%.
They're just like, fuck, man. Like they could tell me the whole day that happened from that one photo of their car. They're like, I remember that day. We came in fucked up. We stayed up all night, you know, detailing the cars. We didn't even sleep. We came in at 8 in the morning, you know, all fucking sweaty and shit to set up the cars. And we had a fucking beer in our lap, and we're rolling in listening to How Many More Times, and loud as fuck. And everybody, as soon as we came in, all the necks turned around to us and watched us cruise in, like one by one, just spanking that ass. And I'm like, fuck, that's crazy. And I'm trying to visualize this whole story, and with this one photo is what sparked that off in their head.
Yeah, pictures worth 1,000 words, they say. Yeah. Like
that. So that shit, like all those little things, like helped me, you know, taking it back to doing the hustle from when I was working with my, you know, living with my mom, you know.
Yeah.
She was always like, you know, you just work hard. So I was taking all those things and, you know, applying them to my life and my work, you know.
Yeah.
But that shit took off, and then I started doing like filming with a Super 8 camera, 8mm,
and then doing videos too.
Yeah.
Which, like, one of my favorite songs, I didn't realize it till the day, was "Hold Me Down" with Prodigy.
Yep.
Alchemist, you did that video. It's fucking some of my favorite all-time favorite songs.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Who was your first video you did? Like,
Be Real and them.
Okay, yeah, that was Mr. Green Thumb.
The first video I did with Cypress was Dr. Green Thumb.
Dr. Green Thumb, yeah.
And then No Entiendes la Onda, which is Kill a Man in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I did, a couple videos for Muggs, Cool G Rap, and Jizza. And I did Sendog's SX10. And, I just started doing, I did like 7 videos in the Cypress camp.
Okay.
And from there, I was like, okay, I got this. I felt confident enough to go out and talk to record label people and try to get another band to do a video for. And the first one was, at that time, we were managed by Paul Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Cypress.
Eminem's manager, yeah.
So I got a meeting with Dennis at Interscope, and they gave me the first D12 video.
That's right.
Which is I'll Shit on You.
Shit on You, yeah, I got that here too. Exhibit, Snoop, all that.
Exhibit, Criminal Set. We did a couple of things with Snoop and
Everlast.
Paul Wall, Everlast.
Fuck, man. So you really loving the videos at that time. Still taking photos, but still loving the...
Yeah. I ended up doing probably, 40, 50 videos at that time.
And then
Blink
Transplants.
182, Transplants.
Yeah, fucking Down. That was a big one too. Down and Violence, and then the Transplants. What I can't describe.
Gangsters and Thugs.
Gangsters and Thugs. Yeah, fuck, man. So many, man.
Yeah, I ended up doing pretty good amount of videos, and I had people like at that time. Hype Williams was like the biggest.
He was
director in the hip hop game, and I had him. His people telling me, "Hey man, Hype really likes your shit.
Wow,
we watched your video." So I was like, "Damn, okay,
I'm fucking awesome.
I'm on the right track,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing. Mine were a little more grimy and street than his. His were like colorful and really crispy and shiny, and you could see the $1 million budget, where it went.
Oh yeah.
It was like the Mace videos and stuff like that. He did back then.
Like
Puffy.
Missy Elliott, Puffy, like he did
shiny suits.
Everybody,
doing movies too, right? He did that one with
Oh, he did Belly?
Belly, I think.
I don't know if he did that. Hype Williams did Belly. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Remember that shit?
Yeah. No,
that
was
with Nas and
DMX.
DMX is in it. Yeah. You also Rise Against too.
Yeah, I did
another
that.
big band. Yeah.
But what's funny is like when the label told me, "Hey, you're gonna do a Rise Against video," they're like hardcore. The video I saw was them flipping out in a train.
Okay, yeah.
They're like going buck wild in a subway.
This song's more mellow, the one you did, right?
Yeah, I did the love song.
Yeah, you did.
So I was like, man,
I just saw that
fucking like love song one out of everybody, I was looking to do the hardcore shit.
Yeah,
I wanted slamming and fucking, I wanted that raw shit.
Alchemist was a big video, man. Hold You Down was a big song, man.
Yep. It was Prodigy and Nina Sky.
Yeah. Did you take Did you take that Kim Kardashian photo that was the first famous Stars and Straps poster?
Yeah.
Her bikini? Wow, dude. That shit's like, that's a piece of, I remember seeing that at Travis's office. Like, that's like hard to find. That's like, wow, dude, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Way before everything.
Yeah, that was right after Ray J, and I think she was single at that time.
Yeah. So, and when you started making money on photos, is that when you kind of realized like this could be a career for me, being a photographer?
Yeah, around 2005, they didn't want to tour no more, Cypress. So I was like, well, I definitely don't want to work with no other band, after seeing people.
Yeah.
You see like us working for that many years and being on tour and being on the same tour bus, sometimes 7 guys, sometimes 13 guys. And you have all the, fucking cigarettes, weed, drinking, farting, all these fucking smells on the bus.
Bunch of kids, yeah.
Yeah, and we're all going buck wild, and there was a broad or two coming through. So, those buses were live,
Yeah.
But to do that with a new band every other month was a little bit far-fetched for me to think, like, I don't want to fucking sleep in a bunk and have and be living with 8 other dudes with their fucking athlete's feet in their socks, or there's always some shit. You're just like, God damn, this motherfucker's funky,
Yeah.
Like
a ship of sailors. Yeah.
You're in this fucking bus, and the everybody that ever would come on our bus and see the bunks, they're like, these are like coffins. How do you sleep in there? And I was like, yeah, fuck, they are like coffins, huh? But I didn't even never notice. To me, that was home.
Totally, me too, man.
To me, like, you can
great
put
sleep.
me,
I love sleeping in those shits, man.
You can put me anywhere, and I could, and I felt comfortable because I never was anywhere long enough to be comfortable.
Yeah,
I was in a brand new hotel every day, a new bus every month. I was on a different bus, and that was our life,
Yeah.
And to me, it was nothing. It was like that was just part of the show.
Road dog, yeah.
Yep.
What was one of the first pictures that you sold for a lot of money? I don't know how much it cost, but like the first picture you really sold, and like, holy shit, like, it put you kind of in a different realm of photographers. You know what I mean?
I would say the videos. I would say the pictures that the lady sold, because I had never sold anything, and she had sold them all for $250 each.
Okay.
It's $250 times 8.
Yeah.
It was, for me, that was a good day.
Yeah, it's a great day.
So I was like, fuck, this is pretty cool. And it wasn't limited edition or nothing like that, which now there's a whole big thing that I'm into, like limited edition. You can get like, there's 8 of this size print, there's 5 of this size, and there's 3 of the bigger size, and if it sells out, it's over. You'll never get that size again, because I already sold 8 of 8 of those, or 5 of 5 of those, and 3 of 3 of those. Now, that picture is retired, and that's how that game works, the fine art world. And then you move to another picture, So it's like all strategy, and you got to know what you're doing, and it's a whole different kind of hustle.
Yeah,
doing the fine art thing, but. When I sold those pictures for $250 and none of them were limited edition, that was a pretty good lick for me.
Hell yeah!
But that set me off to where I started doing art shows, and I started learning more about the photography gallery.
Yeah, and I saw like you had stuff in the Smithsonian Center, like Latino initiatives. You had something there. The MPSA Contemporary Art Center, Peterson Automotive Museum with contemporary art. All your stuff's been all these places, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been in I think 15 museums to date. I've been parts of like maybe 50 art shows, around the world. Our very first art show was me and Cartoon in aside from that Photo Lab one.
Yeah.
Our first gallery show was in Japan, in Tokyo.
Oh shit.
In you know where Kittyland is?
Yeah.
In Harajuku?
Yeah.
Across the street from there.
Okay.
There was a gallery, and we had a little show there, and it was packed,
awesome.
The small place in Japan. It wasn't hard. But we had that shit packed. The second one we did was at George's Art Gallery, which was owned by the Beastie Boys on Hillhurst. I don't know if you ever remember
I've been there before, yeah.
It was right next to EK.
Okay.
That cool novelty, Chicano store up there off of Hillhurst. And
that was the second one you had?
East Hollywood, yeah. And that night, me and Cartoon took our lowriders, and the valet Parker had been like, hey, get this car out of here. And he was like, yeah, okay. He goes, nah, come on, move it. And he like hit the car. But he was like, hey, move the car. But you don't do that to a lowrider, because you might fucking dent it with your knuckle, or you just don't put your dick beaters on somebody's ride. That's just a rule, Yeah. Don't fuck with another man's Lolo.
Yeah.
And this dude like slapped his hand against the car, and before you know it, he was sleeping.
Oh shit.
And we brought the cars around to the front, and that guy, when he woke up, had called the cops and told the cops that the guy with the orange car had a gun.
Oh shit.
So we had the orange car and another car in the front of the art show. So we're all in there, everybody's drinking wine and eating cheese, and it's like, cool art show.
Yeah.
And fucking here comes the cops. Ready, like 3-4 cop cars, everybody with their shotguns out. And they're like, hey, the cops are here. The cops are here. And we're like, so?
Right.
Fuck them. We're having an art show, you know? Like, we didn't think that
Yeah.
came to this, you know?
Mhm.
We're like, that has nothing to do with us. They're probably going next door. Fucking some shit happened.
Yeah.
They come right up to the door, and they're like, hey, the cops are here. So I walk up to the door and kind of block them off. And I was like, hey, I go, what's up, man? What are you guys doing? He goes, oh, you know, we got a call. And I was like, well, we're just doing an art show. And they go, no, we got a call that somebody had a gun. We're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And my dad was there. So I go, hey, Dad, talk to these guys, you know. Get them out of here. So my dad takes them outside so they're not disrupting the fucking event that we're having, our first art show in our homeland.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, man, they want cartoon. And I go, why? He goes, they said somebody had a gun on somebody, pointed a gun on somebody in the alley, and they want him. And they had, these dudes are stacked up outside with shotguns pointed at the door of the fucking art gallery.
Yeah.
And people are coming up to me going, this is great. This is fucking amazing. How did you guys set this up? It's like live performance or whatever. They thought it was performance art, like it was part of the show. They're like, nobody would have thought of this. Only you motherfuckers would have came up with this shit.
Oh my god!
And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, this isn't part of the art show. And we're like, no, this is real. It's going down right now. And they're like, no way. For real? I go, yeah. I go, hey, Tunes, the cops want you out there, you know? And he goes, oh, fuck. And I go, what are they tripping on? And he goes, the fucking fool went to sleep. You know, he hit my car and went to sleep. I guess he woke up and didn't like it. He called the cops. So Cartoon comes out and they're like, you know, get your hands up, get against the wall. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, they're like, you know, we got a call that there's a gun. We're like, there ain't no guns, man. We're fucking artists. We're doing an art show. We're tripping. So they searched the car, searched us, and they let us go. And they're like, told us, hey, have a good day. You know, something happened to the guy back there. We don't know what. He said gun. I was like, well, we didn't have no gun. We don't know what the fuck happened to anybody. We don't know what anybody's talking about. Thank you, you know, for coming. See you later. And that was our first art show in L.A.
That's crazy. We hired these cop actors to come and fucking make it more street.
That's what they
fucking
thought.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
How did technology play a role in your photography? I mean, did it change anything? Because I know you started early in the game taking photos. With the technology changing so fast, did it have an effect on your work?
Yeah, it cheapened the whole craft.
Okay.
Shit.
And it took a lot of jobs away from people that had been doing it and that were professional for many, many years, because now anybody could, they thought that anybody could take a picture, because when you shoot film, you don't know what's coming out of it for 3 more days, you know, because you got to get it developed. But when you're shooting digital and like you hire me to shoot a job for you, you can see what the photos look like right away.
Yeah. Everything's
So
instant.
I could shoot a photo and you'd be like, let me see. Looks great. Keep going. And like people were just, you know, taking jobs. They're like hacks, you know, like what do they call those guys that would jump the line at the market? Scabs. The digital photographers were like scabs to the real film professionals.
Right.
Yeah.
They, you know, cross the picket line and fucking take your job for half the price and wouldn't give a fuck about you. So that's kind of what happened with digital and analog. And 2008 came, the economy crash.
Yep.
All the record labels, you know, were shutting down. All the budgets got froze. Yeah. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. All the magazines were shutting down, like left and right.
I remember that doc too. You guys are moving spaces, and remember in the doc you're talking about everything kind of went down. You guys are moving from a smaller spot or spots to spots back then, right?
Yeah, we were moving around. We had Joker Brand, and we moved within the time of Joker Brand and our clothing company and doing the photos and the tattoos. We moved to 3 different spots in like downtown East LA, Skid Row area.
Yeah.
And you know, it was all because of like money, you know, like one place, the first place we got kicked out of for partying. They weren't used to that. And the second place we got kicked out of because we got investors in Joker. And they're like, we're going to move the whole operation to our warehouse. So
I remember I used to go there, yeah.
There went our little spot. You know, they're like, well, we're not going to pay for this. And we're like, well, fuck, you know, we got to give it up then. So we had to, you know, tighten our belts and move everything to them. Then we got it back and moved to downtown where everybody used to come, the SC Studios.
It was a sick spot.
And we had that for like 13 years. And then that closed down probably, I think in 2013 maybe.
That was a big spot too, man, really big.
We had 3 warehouses. And
cool.
It was like a little museum. We had all our cars there, all our memorabilia from everything in the past 20 years, you know.
Yeah, I remember seeing you, because I was touring, obviously lost touch throughout these years, but when you were growing up, it was like in hip hop, it was like get tattooed by Cartoon, get jewelry by Jake the Jeweler, get a photo from Estevan. Like you became so immersed in the hip hop. It was amazing to see that, you know, with the cars and hip hop and everything. You know what I mean? Like everybody wanted a photo from you.
Yeah, we try to make our spot like a spider web. You know, like a one-stop shop. Like you can come and get your lowrider built. You can come get a tattoo. You can get a photo shoot. You can get a video. You can get a logo. You can get a painting for your new pad.
It was everything.
Oh, and you could get a box of clothes.
And you never thought about taking that on the road, you know, like going to different spots in the U.S. and setting up and staying there for a little while, like a pop-up?
Yeah, we did do like a tattoo tour in Japan.
Okay.
And me and Cartoon went to 13 cities, 5 days in each city. And we were there for like 2 months. In places where no Americans have ever even been.
And tattooing's a little weird out there, right? With the Yakuza too, depending where you go. You know, showing tats and shit.
We're cool because we're in the lowrider community.
Okay.
That's huge in Japan too, man.
We would set up in lowrider shops or like sick. Clothing stores that carry like hip hop or you know lowrider shit.
Yeah.
So we would set up in an extra room that they had, and we did it just like a record. You know, I took everything that I knew from the music industry, and we made flyers and posters, and we did like, you know, staple up shit on the telephone poles and
DIY.
Yeah, we did it all like if we were pushing an album.
Yeah.
And went there and had the time of our lives and fucking tattooed I don't know how many people, and it was amazing. But we're gonna do this other tour. I don't know. You probably met the guy. It was like bands and tattoos.
Tattoo the Earth.
Tattoo the Earth.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Sepultura.
Talk in the mic, please.
And Slayer. It's right here, man. I can get loud.
Yeah.
I give you the smallest mic stand ever. Go ahead. Tattoo the Earth. Yeah.
We helped that guy set all that shit up, but we didn't want. Cartoon didn't want to be like. Because he had been on tour with us,
right?
And it's like schlepping around and waking up and driving, and
it's brutal, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. But the bands only had to perform 1 hour a day,
right?
But he didn't want to be tattooing fucking 10 hours a day from the time the place opened to the time that it closed, and you know, tattooing and all the drunk motherfuckers coming up going, "Hey man, can you put a little heart on my ass?"
You know, not a proper location to tattoo.
Yeah,
they didn't really think it out thoroughly.
Yeah,
you know, and each state had different laws about tattooing.
Right. Yeah,
and I remember there was Philip Blue, there was Paul Booth.
Yeah,
you know, different tattoo artists. And I was like, this is a great idea, but they didn't really think it through properly.
Yeah,
you know, because there were a lot of problems that you were talking about that happened. Drunk ass people coming through without appointments, no schedule set up for who's going to tattoo when and where. And it was a mess.
It was a great idea, though.
It was a great idea. It definitely was. They tried to do it in Europe as well.
Yeah, but when Cartoon would come on tour with us, I was the only guy with a camera on backstage,
right,
for a lot of years.
That's great.
And Cartoon was the only guy tattooing backstage for a lot of years. Like I would be like, "Hey, Tunes, you want to roll on tour with us?" B said, you know, that we got you. So, you know, I'd always get my own room, and, you know, they have 2 beds. So I'd go, you know, you kick it with me in my room, and then we just roll on the bus, like on the days when we're traveling, you just, hop in a bunk. So he would bring his shit and we'd set up backstage, and it was like Tattoo the Earth, but it was backstage, so it was more exclusive.
Tattoo your friends.
Yeah, he would set up in the dressing room, and then people would come from every bus, like either people's crews or the bands themselves.
Damn.
And get tattooed all day.
Yeah.
And we'd have fucking people coming by and fucking playing their new album, like, 50 or M or whatever.
Sick.
Like, hey, I got a new joint. You guys want to hear it? Fuck yeah, let's hear that shit. And Cartoon would be tattooing, like Bizarre or something, and this dude's playing a new song that nobody's heard, and we're on tour in fucking Europe, and there's just off the chain.
It's amazing, man.
And you were documenting all of this.
Yeah, at that time we were all under the same roof. It was like the Anger Management Tour, and like Eminem and Cypress were managed by Paul Rosenberg, and then G Unit Records was on Shady.
Yep.
And Exhibit was managed by Paul. So
it's fucking
it was
crazy.
like Exhibit, Cypress, Obi Trice, 50, G Unit, Eminem,
probably Proof out there too,
D12.
right? Proof was probably out there back
D12.
then. Yeah, D12.
Yeah. So they'd come out and do some songs. So we had like 30, 40 dudes out there. And there was always, per diems were just flowing. Whether it was for
tattooed,
tattoos or weed, They're like,
it's fucking crazy.
We had it cracking.
Amazing.
Did you? You were there when 50 Cent got his back tattooed too, huh?
Yep, that was downtown.
Man, that shit's massive, man. So you had all these historical moments of these amazing tattoos that he did, like a Method Man. Just everybody was coming through there. It's fucking. Those photos you capture all. You get to be the part of those moments. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's pretty fucking
history.
Yeah. And then when you took that girl's hand, like the famous L.A. hand.
Yeah.
Who was that girl?
That was my wife. That was in
'94.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like one of the most iconic photos. Probably like I saw in the LA Originals.
Yeah.
Been trying to be bootlegged and copied so many freaking times. But
yeah.
When did that thing blow up? When you first? When did it first appear in? Was it one of your books?
No, it was in magazines.
Yeah.
Because what would happen is when I started getting like people started. I would show my pictures of the bands to magazine people.
Yeah.
And they were like, they were like tripped out on my photos. So they would use whatever photos that would go with the story. They'd be like, oh, you have pictures of Cypress? Cool. We need some pictures of that, or pictures of, Exhibit or whoever. And hey, can we do like a little interview on you and your photography, like a gallery in the magazine? I'd be like, yeah, for sure. So they would say, send us some pictures, and I would send send us 10 pictures. So I'd send the 10 pictures, and then I started noticing like all my pictures that I was sending them were like wide shots of like the whole person with the background, that type of shit. So I was like, I need to break it up and send like some detail shots, like send a guy with a car, a picture of the rim, a picture of the steering wheel, a picture of the dude's shoes, different shit like that. So it wasn't all like way back here.
It's interesting, yeah.
One shot, it looked too similar. Even though they were completely different locations and everything, it was like too much of the same shit. So I started sending like detail shots, and that was one of the pictures I would send, after it kicked off for a little bit. So people would always use that photo as at the beginning of the interview. Okay. Like it'd be like that photo first, then my name, and the interview would start. Or that photo like on a 2-page thing, and yeah. And then even a couple covers that they're like, would it be cool if we use it for the cover? I'd be like, hell yeah, because if back in the day, if you got a cover in the magazine, you were the shit. Yeah. If you were inside the magazine, you were the shit. Yeah. If you got the cover, you were really doing it. Yeah. So they're like, you want to be a cover shot? I go, fuck yeah, that'd be great. So after seeing those responses, I was like, man, I just need to push this shit out there. And I started doing T-shirts and shit like that, and then it was over. It was like
it just blew up, right?
Yeah, everybody's trying to do a LA Fingers hands of everything.
And the LA Originals, you see that it shows like a whole bunch of people trying to copy it.
Yeah, they have like bones.
Copyright it?
You can't copyright or what? You can't trademark a photo, but you can copyright photos. But then you're copywriting that photo.
Weird.
Got it.
So if I copywrote that photo and then somebody drew it as like bones,
it's okay.
Yeah, like I can't do shit.
Right.
But
oh yeah, I've seen Bones ones. Yeah.
I'm the jerk off that fucking promoted that photo and that image all around the world for 25 years.
Damn.
And so then they come in and get the check, 25 years later, like, hey, what if I just draw this like this?
I've seen so many attempts, man. Sad attempts.
And they're getting huge checks.
Yeah, they are.
I'm like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, and they'll be like, oh, it was inspired by Estevan Oriol. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, inspire me with with a little something on that check.
Was that in the LA Women book too? Was that in the LA Women book?
No, it was on the LA Portraits. It was a cover.
Yeah. Lifestyle one, right?
Cover shot. Yeah, because I keep just branding it.
Yeah.
Then I learned the whole branding game, and I'm like, man, I just need to brand this shit and let motherfuckers know that this shit is me.
Yeah.
I think people know by now for sure, man. But
they still don't. It's weird, man. Like,
damn.
Like I get tagged on shit. Like today, a guy tagged me on a picture of a guy that had the hands as bones. When another homie of mine, OG Abel, he drew it as bones first. So like, there's another clothing company just starting out doing that today. I'm like,
fuck, man.
They posted the picture today. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers, they got no shame in their game.
No shame whatsoever.
They're like, we're gonna be the least original, and we're gonna copy the fuck out of whoever we can, whatever makes the money, because we can't come up with nothing original. So I'm just gonna bite that dude shit. And
seems that way with a lot of things today, especially films. They keep doing all these remakes. You're like, we've seen that already.
Yeah,
we've seen it great already.
Yeah,
and you can't do it better than that.
Even listen to, not going to say names, listen to new hip hop records of artists who are sampling their songs that they had hits on a long time ago and trying to recreate that hit.
Which is,
you know what I mean?
It's
really interesting.
It's
like
just
the same
like
sample
moment.
or something. You know what I mean?
Or people sample songs and they don't even know where the fuck it came from.
Right.
But like, I get that, because what you're doing is you're sampling a song that was already successful.
Exactly.
So it's a no-brainer. Like, I'm just gonna copy, that song, and these kids won't know it because the song is older than them.
Right.
And I'm gonna have a hit because it was already a hit. Like the fucking Dreams with Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, the homie Dogface is skateboarding, drinking the cranberry juice.
Yeah.
So many motherfuckers think that that's a brand new song.
That shit's crazy.
It's very, very
that's a generation. They don't really check about the past where it comes from.
They don't give a fuck. Yeah. They're like, man, that's old shit.
Damn.
Who gives a fuck? And that song went to what, number 1 again?
Yeah, I heard their sales went up too. Fleetwood Mac went up.
Yeah, like it went up in the charts. The sales went up, and that one guy. I think mainly because my homie does Fools Gone Wild.
Yeah.
Was posting it, and that shit kicked off a whole thing for fucking Ocean Spray.
Yes, all that
kicked off a whole thing for Fleetwood Mac.
And then the guy from Fleetwood Mac did it as well.
He did it as well.
That shit fucking went crazy, bro.
He was like, hey, I got this extra money
Stevie Nicks did it.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
But homie was living out of a trailer in his sister's yard.
I read that, man.
If I was, and he lives in Idaho.
Fuck. Is he in Cali?
Yeah, what are the pads up there? Like 100 G's?
Yeah.
For a fucking 10-bedroom mansion. Like, if I was Mick Fleetwood, I would have been like, hey, man, thank you for fucking bringing that shit back to life.
Absolutely.
Like, but they probably think, oh, that shit's a hit. That's my shit,
We quickly broke him off with something, man. Yeah.
Yeah, just give him a pad. Be like, hey, you live in a trailer in your sister's yard? Let me get you a house on the lake over there in Idaho, 100 G's.
I see people send him new Cortez and shit because his shoes are all busted.
Yeah.
People send him kicks. I knew he's in Idaho. That makes him even fucking cooler, though.
I mean, there's like people like David Axelrod, old school guy, did a lot of songs, and he had that song that don't
Oh, Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
He wrote that. So then he's talking on a live concert thing about, he's just like, many people talk about this sampling thing, and I was always like, they're stealing from the artist, and he's playing, it's a live band playing this in the background. He's just talking over it.
Damn.
And he's like, but he hasn't gotten into the part yet. It's just like dun 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 dun. He's like, but you know what? I gotta say, like, thanks to Dre, he's like, now I got this, like, fuck you money. And he's like, thank you, Dre.
Yeah.
And then they break into the song, and
that's fuck. They give me goosebumps here, and that's
sick. Oh, it's amazing. When you hear, you get goosebumps. You're like, this is the original score.
Yeah, and that hip hop, thing, the chopping up
right.
Muggs would chop up shit to where you couldn't tell what it was.
That's clever.
But it's like when the guys were like when Vanilla Ice did Ice Baby, like everybody knew that song, that beat,
just like Queen.
That's a no-brainer,
Right.
But when you can take that shit and flip it to where you can't even tell what the fuck the sample is, that's when you're, really being creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the type of shit, like Muggs
doubt.
was, that's why people respected him so much.
Yeah, he did so much in hip hop, man.
He
House
would
of Pain, everything, man.
chop up all them fucking records. Like, that's what he called it, the Soul Assassins. That's our crew. And it was from like assassinating the soul records.
So dope.
It's pretty,
Killing it, murdering it, like taking them old funky, soul R&B records and just making some, hits out of it. There was some that were already hits already, but it's just taking it and flipping it and, just making it grimy as fuck. And that was, that moment of time back then.
Yeah. How does it feel to have LA Originals out now that everything your whole life kind of compressed into this documentary? Are you proud of it? You excited? I mean, I'm sure you are. It's awesome,
It's
man.
amazing. He turned me on to the doc.
It's so perfect,
I was
dude.
really impressed, especially the amount of footage that you had, and it's your footage.
Yeah.
Like, you did that, doc. I was like, because at the end I was like, yo, I was like, that's amazing. Like,
years and years of collecting all that shit, man.
Yeah,
like,
there was
that's
so
why
much.
I asked, like, did you know, like, that? Oh, at the very beginning, like.
Yeah, no, I just now I'm thinking about what do I do with it all? What can I do with this? So now we're working on a Cypress doc. We're doing the sizzle reel.
Way overdue for one of those.
So it's perfect because I'm thinking like, okay, well, everything the Cypress that I didn't use in our doc, I got it for this one.
Oh,
nice.
And everything for this, I got footage that we didn't use for LA Originals. I can put in this doc and that doc. You know, like. If we do a Soul Assassin documentary, because originally I wanted to do like a Soul Assassin documentary and just show how our crew is,
right?
How
all the
deep
branches
we
of
are,
it, and shit. Yeah,
just how fucking sick and what we did for the culture.
100%.
But it's hard to get everybody together and fucking it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Then I was like, let's do the Cypress one then. And that was even a lot of work. I was like, well, fuck it, let's do me and Cartoon. How about that? And we did that, and now Cypress saw that and they're like, hey, let's do that. Let's do one on us. And then
it'd be dope to have that, man.
Yeah, so like incredible. We're kind of working backwards. Like we wanted to do the umbrella,
right,
and then branch off and have this go here, this go there. But now we're kind of working backwards, which works too.
What makes it so unique and so interesting, I think, to watch the documentary done by you is because you were a part of it.
You lived that shit.
You lived it. It's very real. So to see Cypress, to see all that stuff, it's going to be through your eyes and where they feel comfortable being filmed by you. Because after a while being on the road, everyone becomes comfortable with you filming and shooting.
But that's the difference between him and like a label guy, a corporate guy, and a business guy, and an industry guy. Like, let me get a photo. You're like their friends. So that transcends through the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. You
friends.
see a different side of those people you're shooting.
And that's
more comfortable and relaxed.
Yeah, and that's how you get them in those great. Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah.
And you busted your ass for that. You paid your dues and went on those tours and fucking.
Yeah.
It felt good to put that out, like having a baby or some shit. Like, it's finally out. You know what I mean?
And then it was like the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
but it was good timing though, because everybody's at home watching that shit though.
And everybody's sick of Tiger King.
Word.
So
very quickly.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah.
They're like, man, this fool, he had the whole world sprung out on that shit. You know,
one of those dudes got locked up recently too. One of them.
Like I watched the shit. Like I binge watched it.
Me too.
Yeah.
And they were like Tiger King. I was like, man, what the fuck is all this about? Oh, it's about this guy, and he has these little young guys around, and he gets, sprung out on them.
It's wild, bro.
They got no teeth, and the tigers, and this and that. I was like, fuck, man. That shit sounds crazy.
It was to watch it,
And then I watched it, I was like, whoa, because when you're hearing about it, you just think of a guy that has his little tiger thing, like a sanctuary.
When you watch it, it's like...
And then you watch it and all the twisted shit that goes on, and all the different stories, and this one might have murdered her 2 husbands or whatever, and you're like...
She's on Dancing with the Stars now, too, which is bananas.
Yeah.
Bro, it's just crazy, bro. How this shit fucking...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that was the most talked about thing at the beginning of the COVID. That was like the craziest shit. Like, this is only going to be the craziest thing that we deal with in these 8 months, but it wasn't. But
people are like, this is insane.
But timing for the originals was fucking perfect, I think, man.
Oh, yeah, it was right after that. It was everybody was on lockdown, because for me, I was bummed out. Like I thought, like one more time I get a fucking shot at the title, and something comes up. Like, fuck, man, like, because we had South by Southwest booked. We were the headliners.
Shit!
It was gonna be us one night, and then us the next morning or the next afternoon, and then the Beasties the next night. Documentaries.
Yeah,
and
that's a great doc too.
So we're there. Me, Spike Jones, me and Cartoon, Beastie Boys. And they're going to play our movie twice, which our movie was the only one in the film festival that was going to play twice.
Dope, man.
So we're like, fuck yeah. And this was like, you're in the festival, so you have a chance of getting the little Great Cadillac festival. Sign on your movie, like they won this award, they won this festival, that festival. Like for me, if I see a movie with all the little, Cadillac signs, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's the shit.
Yeah, for sure.
They won all them festivals. This got to be good.
Yeah.
So... that I was looking forward to that. I had 20 homies buying tickets, getting Airbnbs. My family was coming out. Like it was gonna be cracking. We were gonna take over. That's what our thing was. Like, let's take LA to South by Southwest. So we had like 20 homies that are in the movie. The family got like 5 Airbnbs. Everybody bought their own tickets, and we're gonna smash over there.
Fuck.
The 2 weeks before the pandemic. Oh, okay, cool. Well, we're going to South by Southwest. Fuck that pandemic, They're like, Starbucks pulled out. We're like, oh, cool. Who gives a fuck, And then T-Mobile pulls out, or like all these brands start pulling out, and Netflix was the very last one. So we're like, fuck, man. Well, this is a film festival. This is a Netflix thing. And then this artist is pulling out on the music side. That artist pulling out. We're like, fuck. They go, hey, it's over. Netflix just pulled out. They're the last ones to hold on. We're like, man, ain't that about a bitch?
Fuck.
So now what? No, well, now they're just going to put it up on Netflix. When you say, I'm just going to put it up on Netflix, that's what they really do. They just put it up on Netflix with the thousands of movies. This it's not like New Pick or.
Yeah.
I saw it up there. I saw it up there though. I saw it.
That was because it was trending.
Okay, yeah. It was fucking up there.
It was trending, and it went to
no
like
promo or
10.
anything.
No promo at all. They didn't give us none of the elements or
on
nothing.
Your own social media.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's live. And we're like, oh fuck, okay, start posting it. Start telling all of our homies, everybody that worked at a. But
it was great to see Snoop and Eminem, everybody posting it. It was fucking.
Yeah, Eminem
was so much love, dude.
Eminem had the link in his bio.
Nice.
Shit is dope, dude.
Like he had the post, and he's all, hey, the homies did this.
That's huge, man.
Massive.
Check the link in the bio. And I was like, what the fuck?
That must have felt good. That's fucking huge,
like,
man.
Like, I don't know, like whenever we kicked it with Eminem, it was like real friend shit.
Right.
Like, but we wouldn't talk to him. I don't have his phone number.
Word.
Or it wasn't like I would see the dude every year, but the one time every other year I'd see him, or we would be on a tour or whatever, it was always love.
Yeah, like, that's amazing, man.
Like Snoop.
Right. Yeah.
Always the same, always the coolest motherfucker, to where people would call me up and be like, hey, I'm in Wichita, Kansas today, and Eminem's coming. You think you can give him a call? I'm with my wife and my daughter and her 2 friends. Like,
Jesus.
Can we get some tickets? And I'm like,
Absolutely not.
Wait, so you think because I took pictures of Eminem for 15 minutes for a magazine,
like 10 years ago, more than that,
that I could call him up and ask him for you, your wife, and your 3 kids, whatever friends, to go to this show in Kansas or wherever the fuck you guys are. Come on, man! Like, I just want,
I gotta try.
My daughter was trying. My daughter wanted to see, like for the kids. I'm like, man, you motherfuckers lay it on thick, So,
especially after the doc too. Even now, it's probably like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, but come on, you know him. He's in your movie.
You know him.
But the love I saw was just fucking. It was amazing, man. Everybody was fucking posting it.
Yeah, that shit, man. It was dope.
So that obviously that helped, right? Being on there and all that, Netflix and trending, all that's fucking. It's great.
Yeah, it was a #1 documentary, and it was a #4 overall movie on Netflix.
It's fucking amazing
in the U.S.
I mean, no Cadillac logos yet, but still, it's fucking.
No festivals. The festival thing is cool for if you're in the industry, because it's like people in that genre were like, you recognize, but on Netflix you'll never get that type of thing. Sure. But you did get the rating. Like, man. You were this number at this time.
It's like putting
on
a record
Netflix.
out. Yeah.
It'd be like you're big on Napster, but you weren't big at Tower Records,
Yeah. So maybe in the works to be a Cypress Hill one or House of Pain one or something. That's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing the sizzle reel for Cypress Hill.
Nice.
Do you feel like now it's 2020 and your age, everything? You feel like you still have to hustle as hard, or are you kind of happy, content where you are?
Yeah, I was just talking about that last night. Like I'm hustling just as hard as I was in the 90s.
You never stop that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like. Every day is like I said, I'm unemployed every day.
Yeah.
So for me, pandemic, whatever, it's like nothing to me. Like, we're gonna lose our jobs, or we're not gonna be able to go to work. I was like, I've been having that all my life, I gotta go look for another job every day.
Yeah, there's no retirement plans for musicians, photographers, none of that shit.
We don't have a union, we don't have a fucking 401k. It's like, if you don't stack your chips, but you can stack your money, but then there's those times where nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And you're going through that money that you stacked up, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
Yeah. That I didn't take more pictures.
At least that Tupac one at that show would have been sick.
Yeah.
Shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, that I didn't take more pictures, that I, like being on the road and being an artist, you sacrifice a lot.
You do.
To do all that with your family,
Yes.
There was a lot of time I was on tour, and I wasn't the stay-at-home dad, going to every practice,
Yeah.
I would go to the ones that I could when I was home, and I would see these dads out there yelling, "Come on, Johnny, you got it!" Right. Flipping out, running up and down the field and all that shit. And I would see my son or my daughters, and I'd be like, I had it in my inside, I was like, fuck, like that's my kid right there. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
And that's just how I express myself. But I would see these other parents, they're just going buck wild over there. And I was thinking like, fuck, are these better parents? Because they're screaming
I felt that way
for
too
their
before.
kid louder than me. Like, but at the same time, there's these dickheads that are going, come on, man, you can do better than that. Like, yeah, they think they're motivating their kid, but at the same time, they're screaming in front of everybody.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Embarrassing them maybe, or, like making them feel not as good as they could be,
Yeah.
That's very true.
So, there's no parenting book. There probably is, but
maybe by now, probably by now there is.
I didn't get it, or I didn't have the parenting app on my phone.
Me either.
So
how many kids you have?
I got 4 kids and 4 grandkids.
Wow, bro.
Yeah,
you look good, man. You look good for you. You're aging well.
That's the vegan shit.
Yes, son. He's on that vegan life.
That's right.
So 1 year on the vegan diet now?
This year, yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I was the doctors were threatening me to cut off one of my feet. And, they even went so far as to fucking get the Sharpie out. And
Holy
they're like,
shit.
Yeah, we're thinking of right here, which is like in between my foot, like before my ankle. They're like, you'll still have the heel. We'll just put like an extension on there for the front part of your foot. And I was like, fuck, man.
Damn.
You know, because I had a lot of pain, so I was like, fuck yeah, you know, because there was that guy, he killed his old lady from Australia. He was an athlete. He didn't have no feet.
That story.
And he was like the track star. And I was like, this dude's running track on those little, like, fake feet.
Yeah.
Like, I should be able to walk around and take photos.
What was wrong with your foot? What was it?
I have a thing called neuropathy. So it's like the nerves and the like, I don't feel them, and I don't have I have like numbness and tingling in my feet and like burning sensations, and then I don't feel them. So if I get a cut on them, it gets infected because I can't feel it. I don't even know the fucking thing is, doing bad or not. And it had gotten bad, and I had the red line going up my leg, and the doctor's like, hey, we need to put you in the emergency. And they're like, okay, like, it looks like, this one might go. And I was like, thinking about it, I was like, well, I do complain about pain a lot, and, this might be a new thing for me. Maybe I don't have to be in pain no more.
Yeah.
But when they started drawing on it with the Sharpie, that, started making me think like, fuck, maybe you should give it one more shot. And I said, how can I go about, helping this neuropathy shit? And I don't want to be in this pain forever, shit like that. And they go, you just got to change your diet. And I was like,
really?
Oh.
That was it. They're like,
that's amazing. A doctor would say that.
And they go, what? I go, what did I have to do? And they go, just stop eating. They said because I have gout too. For the gout, I couldn't eat no more red meat and no more alcohol.
Yeah.
And then the doctor told me, the doctor for the neuropathy told me no carbs, no dairy, and no sugar.
Damn.
So I was like, okay, no alcohol, no red meat, no carbs, no sugar, no dairy. I'm Italian and Mexican. We eat pizza, pasta, tortas, tortillas, fucking burritos, cakes galore,
everything,
beans, rice, fucking, pan dulce, everything, everything that's bad
Sweet
for
bread.
you.
Yeah, word.
You go to the Mexican market, and it's just like a fucking poison, shit.
Yeah.
Aisles of poison. And the doctor broke it down to me. He's like, food is either medicine or poison.
Yes.
That's amazing. Doctor said that
Absolutely.
shit.
And then I watched that documentary Game Changers with all the top athletes, and they're all vegan. And I just had to process all that in my head and think about, do I want to walk around on the fake feet and go through all that drama, like putting my feet on and taking a shower and, taking all that shit off and hopping into the fucking shower on one leg. And, I was already doing that with the sores on my feet. So I had to do the plastic bags and casts for weeks. So I was like, maybe I'll just give it one more shot. And I did that, and I lost like 50 pounds right off the bat.
Yeah, great, man. Yeah.
And people started, they're always negative. They're like, are you okay, man? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, are you sober? And I was like, not really. What do you mean? And they're like, are you okay? And I go, yeah, why? And they're like, well, you lost a lot of weight real quick. And I go, you mean am I tweaking? And they're like, well, we didn't want to say that, but yeah. I'm like, nah, man, I'm fucking eating healthy. I'm not going to the Hat, getting the double burger with pastrami, bacon, and the chili fries and the shake anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to, the vegan spot, getting a plant-based burger with no bread. And if I get fries, they're sweet potato,
Right.
So I just had to switch my whole shit around, but I feel better, like
it's helped everything.
I don't have that fucking IBS no more.
Wow,
from
dude.
going, you go eat at the Hat or some of these fucking pizza spots, and you feel like your stomach's about to bust.
That in combination with alcohol.
It
will destroy your digestive system. But I feel you, It's like I haven't eaten meat in, 33 years. I stopped drinking at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And the difference is radical. It's radical, people started noticing as well. Like I wasn't really unhealthy looking, but I felt it.
Yeah.
And then it was like after a while doing juices with Toby, got me into that. and doing like juicing.
Yeah.
That was a game changer, like
set your body and shit.
But it's just like really that development of your mind, getting your mindset on that, because we're all trained to eat, a lot of this bad food that's out there.
It's all poison.
Absolutely.
Like they could get rid of the whole chip aisle at the market, the whole cereal aisle, the whole candy aisle.
Yeah.
Like the whole bread aisle, like nobody needs that shit.
Don't need that shit, man.
It just fucks everybody up. Like our whole country is fucking obese.
Yep.
And then everybody's seen it around the world, and now we have fucking McDonald's and everything, and we blew up everybody else. Like we poisoned everybody.
I saw it in Brazil
with our bullshit food, and it's fucked up,
It's crazy. McDonald's is essential to be open during the COVID, and like nobody, not to get political, but nobody's talking about health and your immune system and keeping it strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and McDonald's kills way more people.
Definitely.
Not saying more than COVID. I'm saying it's just like not the best food, but that's essential to eat that. It's like.
But that's that's a big problem why the U.S. is doing so badly with COVID, because there's pre-existing conditions that exist from the diet.
Yeah.
That's always been going downhill for the past 30 years. It wasn't that way in the U.S. that long, if you think about it.
Yeah, never.
Growing up, I'd go to McDonald's with my parents like once a month, maybe. It wasn't pushed so hard by propaganda and commercials. It was more eating at home.
But it was like a treat too.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if you do good, you go to McDonald's and you get the Big Mac, you get the fries, you get to go large,
the Happy Meal,
you get the fucking shake, and you're real good.
Right.
If you got a good score on your test, I'll get you the apple pie.
Apple pie was
like.
Bomb.
Apple pie was the bomb, dude.
Well, I'm gonna do the
banging, dude.
Yeah, that shit would motivate me in school. But then, like, I feel bad, because my poor mom and shit, she didn't know she's fucking poisoning me. Trying to get me to do shit, and like that shit passed on to me. And like now, I have one daughter, she's full blown vegan, and she tries to. She's like a fucking hardcore one. She don't like. I don't even know all the shit. She's
it's just animal products and shit.
Yeah,
I'll see through.
Anything like
vegan Nikes.
Like anywhere, like anywhere there's any type of thing where there was any type of animal involved anywhere down the line.
So dope. This is my favorite part of this because I knew everything about him except for this.
That's
you can tell when you walked in, like you lost weight. Like, you know what I mean? Like younger.
And then me and this guy, he's a former sergeant in the Army.
Nice, man. Thank you for your service, sir.
You don't like when they say that.
You don't like that? No, well, I appreciate him. I appreciate it.
But
I appreciate you.
A lot of the whole, like, that's what our country was told to tell veterans, thank you for your service, but none of them like it when you say that.
I'm sorry, man.
But no, it's not like a disrespectful thing, but nobody knows that that they're being told that. He's broke it down to me before. Like
it's interesting. I never even knew that. Yeah,
he's better at it than me, but he lives with me in the back house.
Okay.
And one of the best things I've ever bought in my life was a $4,000
pellet, the bike
juicer.
No.
Juicer.
You? Sauna.
Oh,
a sauna?
Yeah.
Sick.
Of course. I got a 6-person barrel sauna, and he does construction.
Okay.
So he put it together for me, and I had a dirt lot. I was like, hey, just put the fucking barrel in the dirt, and we'll just put like a little stepping stone thing to it, and we'll do the ice, because I learned that from the homie Pat from Ruka.
Nice.
And my other boy Marlon from New York. We'd always do the saunas. So I was like, man, I want to get one of those. That shit makes me feel fucking great.
Nah, it's
like,
great.
You get the sauna, and then you come out and you do the ice bath.
Yeah.
Sauna for 20 minutes, ice bath for 3, and
Absolutely,
you do that 3 times. So I got, I told him, I was like, hey, let's just put the fucking thing together and put a little rock path going up to it, and we'll be straight. And he's like, oh, I think you should do like a wooden deck. Let's just I'll just slap together a little wooden deck.
That's dope.
I was like, okay, cool. And then I looking at my pool, fucking filters and shit. I was like, hey, can we put like a little wall to block that ugly shit up? Because the deck looks cool, the sauna looks cool, but that looks ugly. Yeah, sure. And then he's like, hey, maybe we should put a roof on it so, it protects all this fucking deck and the sauna and everything. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. So now we got this full-blown like sauna area with a shower, outside shower, and we do the sauna every morning. We have it holds 6 people, so it's me and him and 4 other guys. We all just fucking get in there every day.
Sick.
Get the sauna ice. We have weights set up there.
I was gonna ask you working out too, yeah.
So we got the weights, and like in the morning, my vegan daughter, she comes at 6:30. What does she call it? Like the 6:30 something. Like her and her friends come and work out because of the COVID.
6:30 shift on crew or something. Yeah.
So they come at 6:30, work out till like 7:38. Then we hit the sauna. Sauna boys hit it from 8:30.
Sauna boys.
To like
tight.
To like 11. And then my son has another crew of all ripped motherfuckers. They're like the Savage Squad. So then those guys hit it in the afternoon, and they're just tight. All ripped and fucking, cut up from just hitting the weights.
It's fucking awesome, man.
So we kind of have this little gym there, and when I saw it at Ruka, I was like, man, this is fucking dope. Like all these people, like they're on the same page. They're all eating healthy. They're all fucking doing the sauna. They're fighting. They're hitting the weights. They're doing, cardio. They all look fucking healthy. Yeah.
Sick.
Like, man, this is fucking dope. It's inspiring.
Yeah.
And little by little, that's how our places come to, for all of us.
That's cool.
A good, like 15 people a day that come through to the backyard.
Wow. That's cool. Stance is like that too. You've been to Stance?
Yeah.
It's like a basketball court. There's a
the
chef,
the gym.
Weights. Yeah, dude. It's fucking like a whole community at Stance.
Yeah.
It's sick, man.
So we did the basketball court, me and Cartoon.
Oh, there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there a long time ago.
Cartoon did a mural, and then they have one of my photos of.
I've probably seen it. Was there a bowl in there too at that time? Was a bowl on the roof? Oh, maybe it's a new version. Yeah, I don't know if yeah.
Yeah, I think they moved.
Since they did your socks?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I've been there since a while, yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope, though. It's a great crew over there, man. Stance.
Yeah, they're cool as fuck.
But that whole community, like getting healthy at a chef, make you whatever you want when you're there.
Yeah.
People training at lunch and shit.
Yep.
Sick, man. It's like a new...
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. That's amazing. How old are you now? I'm 50 now.
54.
Yeah, man. He's turned your whole shit around.
Yep. Now, I'm just trying to stay around. My dad's 78, so that's my goal, is to at least hit Pops' age.
Yeah.
My grandpa on my mom's side, I think I outlived him as far as years go. He had a heart attack, so I'm just, trying to keep up with Pops, and I'll be all right,
Yeah, yeah. But you reversed everything you had. Like you say, IBS is gone, and your foot's better and all that. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy how powerful a diet is and what you put in your body and shit. Nobody thinks about that, you know what I mean?
Everybody's like lazy. They don't give a fuck. Like, even people that come around us all the time, they see it, firsthand. They're like, hey, man, I want to do that. They do it for a week, and then they fall off.
Right. But it's mental.
Man, pobrecitos, like they come to the fucking, they go, hey, I want to come do the sauna. I want to come do the sauna with you guys. I go, yeah, you could come one time. They're like, what do you mean once? I go, well, that's all you'll last. Like, you'll come once and you'll never come back.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why you say that? I go, I seen it. Like 40. There's been like, how many fools come over? like at least 20, 30 of the homies have come through. And maybe 5 of them have come twice.
Came back
the rest come one time. They're like, fuck that shit, that heat and that fucking ice.
But it's life, man. Sauna's life. I learned that through my girl, and that from that culture. She's from Belarus, like the Russian culture, and they have that in their backyards. It's a very common thing. And in Finland and places like that, they have in their little one, easy to build and simple, and then it's just it changes everything in your life, man.
It adds some years onto you,
Yeah, for sure,
like man. You get a couple extra years on the house, if you take care of yourself.
Yeah, I haven't eaten meat since 1988, and then my dad died at 33, had a rare heart condition, so like we were super scared. Like every time my older brothers were going to turn 33, you're going to die too because of some rare shit. But like, obviously we're still here, but But I'm happy I made that decision a long time ago,
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then Skinhead Rob, he's vegan.
Yep.
So like when I first started doing it, I had a good homie that I trusted and that I felt comfortable with. Because for me and my crew and my type of people, vegan is like the worst.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get any lamer than being vegan.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck it. Now that I'm doing it, like
So
being
cool,
sober and vegan.
Oh yeah.
You're out of the car. You know, you're booted out of the culture.
Definitely a black sheep. Yeah.
Your whole fucking lowrider, cool pass is like.
You came from a school of like wanting to be different. You know, that's cool. You know, being different. You know, and I think we all did. You know, we're growing up. You know, trying to not fit in. You know, I didn't want to be like those fools in my school who actually were getting wasted and drunk.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like a good time that, you know, the whole hardcore and punk rock scene helped because I wanted to be different from those people. I was like, I don't want to be anything like those fools. Or, you know, I went and experimented after high school, but, you know, it was always like trying to avoid that being like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I just never felt like I wanted to do that, but I feel you.
Dory from the Misfits, who's vegan now for a long time, he told me that on the tour we did in '96, he saw me and my wife coming out of Subway with just a sub with no meat on it, and then my wife had a bag of phony bologna that we put on the thing. He's like, "What the fuck is this shit?" We're like, "It's called phony bologna." He's like, "I eat crazy." He used to make it fun, but now he's vegan. He's like, "I got that back then. I remember seeing you guys doing that."
Oh, you know him before he was vegan.
Yeah, before vegan.
Right.
Yeah. Phony bologna back in the day.
I was bummed when I shot Rise Against.
Rights Again.
Or vegans too as well.
Yeah, because I was like, fuck, man, I get to shoot the love. Like, these were hardcore. This music was like hardcore. Yeah. They're fucking bouncing off the walls.
Great band.
And then I get the love song. You know, I get the love acoustics song out of the hardcore, the most hardcore shit. I'm getting the like softest love song.
Right.
And then I'm like, what's up with these dudes? They're like doing these love ballads and they're vegan and shit. Like I went to the craft service and everything was, you know, phony bologna and all this shit. I'm like, man, what the fuck? I'm not going to be able to eat all day. The craft service, you know, like, fuck, man. I was like pissed. It was like in Chicago, I think.
Yeah, that's where they're from. Yeah,
so I'm thinking of Chicago deep dish pizza. You know, I'm thinking all that shit, like the fucking sausage, pepperoni, meatball. I'm like, oh, I'm going to Chicago. I'm gonna fucking kill it. And I go with the vegans, and I was like, fuck, man. So I didn't eat until it was over.
Damn. Looking back now, you're like, damn, that shit was probably really good.
Yeah, them dudes could have put me up on game way back then. I could have been healthy all this fucking time, you know?
Right.
Do you fuck with Monty's?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It can be a little tricky too, like coming from trying to get healthy just and going full on processed meat food that has some high cholesterol too, because it is processed. So it's easy to become like a junk food vegan as well.
True. It's becoming now it's like the new McDonald's, you know, as far as like, oh, once in a while.
Yeah, you know, and the Impossib's fucking crushes and beyond.
We used to follow this girl on Instagram. She's fucking fine as hell. Right? She's had millions of followers, and we used to just be like, hey, you know, check her out. Look at her today. Check out this post, homie. Damn, she looks fine as fuck. She's vegan, right?
Oh,
okay. I was like, I think I know.
No, now her whole thing is getting thicker and thicker, and I'm tripping out on her like, hey, man, she's vegan, and because when I'm seeing her as vegan, and I was doing the vegan thing, I'm like, oh, I'm losing weight. I'm going to get ripped. You know, this is going to be fucking great. And I'm looking at this girl's pictures. I'm like, damn, look at, you know, there's a chick that's vegan and she's like top notch. And then like we're settled into the vegan thing. And then she starts blowing up, getting bigger and bigger, like, you know, bigger thighs, ass, you know, just blowing up everywhere. And I'm like, how is she doing all that? You know, being vegan, you know? And it was because of, you know, bread. You could still be
totally, man,
fat and out of shape being vegan. You know, people get that twisted.
They do get twisted.
Like, I'm going to be vegan. I'll probably be like 125, 30 pounds, you know, because I'm not going to have protein. I'm going to lose all my muscle, lose all my weight. And when you're starting and you're just seeing the fucking weight falling off, melting off, like you're like, God damn, this is pretty cool. Like, I'm going to get back to my high school weight.
Yeah.
And then it's like the carbs set in.
Yeah, but it depends what you do. You got greens and like fucking, you know.
Yeah, you hit that plateau and you're like, oh, fuck, you know, and then you start feeling like, it feels like I'm putting weight on, but I'm not changing nothing. Like your body feels all these different things going on and sees it, you know. They're like, what's going on here, but the best part about it for me was what the inside was going on, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's really great. You turn your shit around, your health too.
Turn your shit around.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one of the last questions is, you consider yourself an optimist or pessimist, but I pretty much get the vibe from you that you're an optimist.
Yeah.
You stay focused. You've always stayed focused from the jump. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, focus is a key, you know, to
your longevity.
To longevity and success, you know?
Yeah.
You can't be successful and be scatterbrained and have, you know, fucking be all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, I like watch different people, you know, like we watch this guy, David Goggins, on IG.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know the guy, yeah.
And we just watch shit like that, and he just keeps it so simple and tells you real hood and keeps it simple, but it's all about being focused and pushing yourself.
Yeah.
You know, don't be the victim and don't make excuses. You know, like there was this one video where he's running down the street. It was like 120 degrees where he is.
That's all I do. Yeah.
And a man pulls up on him. He's out there with just his shorts and his shirt and a backpack full of fucking weight or some shit. And he's running down the street. And the guy goes, "Hey, man, it's too hot. You know, what are you doing running out here?" He goes, "Why are you out here running? It's too hot." And he goes, "'Cause you're not." And he just kept running.
Fucking love that.
Yeah, he just kept running, and
that's
the dude
amazing.
Rolled his window back up with the AC on and was like, "Fuck it," and took off. But you see people like that.
Yeah, inspiring, man.
That shit just blows me away. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm over here bullshitting, you know?
Yeah.
Like, dudes like that make me feel like I'm standing still or I'm just spinning my wheels in the mud.
Yeah, how about that Jack dude in the movie he talked about? The documentary, the Jack dude doing the pull-ups. He's like, I have grandkids.
Game changers.
Game changers. That guy doing the pull-ups. He was Jack, like 60 years old, and that was crazy, man.
Yeah, that fool was crazy. The older black man.
Yeah. But that shit's possible, man. We see people like that doing it.
Possible. And then that one weightlifter with the big pork chops. And the guy's interviewing him, going, you know, you're in an industry where, you know, you have to have mass and you have to be strong. And you have to, you know, you're fucking competing against these guys that are, you know, probably doing steroids and eating steaks and all that. Like, how do you expect to be like as strong as an ox, but you're not eating all the food groups? And he goes, he killed it. Like, they could have just stopped the documentary right here and just been like, it's over. But, you know, they wanted to give everybody their money's worth. And he goes, have you ever seen an ox eat meat? And
she was amazing, dude.
And it just shut the dude down. He's like, fuck. He goes, have you ever seen a gorilla eat meat?
Right.
Have you ever seen a rhinoceros eat meat? Or an elephant? You know, like he was picking out the fucking strongest animals from the kingdom.
Yeah.
And been like, these motherfuckers don't eat meat, and how strong are they? And you're like, God damn, you know. Like,
that was amazing. Yeah, that was so true too. People don't think about that.
And then the part that tripped me out is when they were testing the college football players about stamina, like sex-wise, and like how long you can have a heart on and
like
shit.
Like a dick test while they're sleeping and shit. Yeah, that was crazy, dude.
They're like giving them like a meat sandwich wrap, and then like a vegan one.
Right.
And the vegan one had them have a hard on longer.
That shit was crazy,
and
dude.
They could, you know, had it bigger, longer, and you know, everything. I was like, damn, if they would have told me that in high school, you know, like when you're over there hitting it like a rabbit, and they would have been like, hey, if you're vegan, you can go longer and it'll be, you know, better. I would have done that shit fucking 30 years ago. That
was crazy. That was the most crazy thing in the documentary about veganism. You never think about shit like that. You know, you sex drive and shit.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy, man.
That was like dope ass information, you know.
Yeah.
And they were talking to the best of the best in each sport.
Yep.
Like everybody that they talked to was at the top of their game and the top of their sport.
Yeah.
So like, if they're doing all that they have all these people on payroll to help these guys become the best of the best, and they are.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do. Watch them.
Yeah.
Watch the fucking pros do it.
100%.
The best of the best. Do what they do, and
by example.
you could be like that.
Yeah.
Or you can listen to your fucking aunt who's like, oh, that's all, a bunch of bullshit. I've been eating meat my whole life and I'm healthy. I just came back from the doctor yesterday. But, they're like a little bit obese.
My cholesterol's fine. I'm good. Like all that shit.
Yeah, and they're way out of shape. They could never do fucking Runyon Canyon, not even the easy part.
Yeah. It's so true.
But, people think like that. Like my grandma lived to be in her 80s. And if I told her that I didn't want to eat meat or her homemade tortillas or her tamales or her rice.
It's like disrespect.
Fucking sopa fideo, I would have been like in trouble.
Yeah.
I would have been like, Nana, can you make some vegan stuff? She'd get the fuck out of here. I'm 85 years old and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I've been eating this shit all my life.
Mm-hmm. Made it this far. You inspire your wife or anybody in your family to become vegan as well?
Yeah.
Or was your daughter already like that?
My daughter had been vegetarian before, but this kicked it to another level.
Yeah.
And now we trade restaurants, like, go to this one for Italian food, go to this one for Mexican food. If you want to go to a bougie spot, go to this one. If you want to hit a truck, go to there. Burgers there.
Yeah, the options are...
And especially in LA is the Mecca, dude.
And it's just been growing. Since we've been in the game, it's like it's grown everywhere in the world. I mean, even in Brazil where it's all about eating meat. Living there 20 years, I started noticing the past 6-7 years, it's been booming. All these places coming out.
You've been to Pura Vida? You've been there? The Italian spot?
Yeah. I hit that.
Rob
took me to all that.
Yeah.
Rob took me to Crossroads, Best. Vegan Glory, Pura Vida, Gracias Madre, like all the fucking best spots.
Banging.
So where I was like, how can I not be vegan?
Right.
All this shit
so
is
sick.
Like, I agree.
Like Gracias Madre, there's a Mexican soup called pozole.
Mm-hmm.
They had the best pozole. Like I'm talking about, it can compete
like
with
legit.
any meat, meat pozole.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Like you can bring me grandma's pozole. This shit is right there. With
that's
that.
saying a lot.
And it's straight up vegan.
Yeah.
At a restaurant. I don't know what happened during the COVID. They got a new chef. They took the pozole out.
Oh shit!
So like we're fucked. But that shit happens like almost everywhere I go. Like
they change it.
They
out.
take the best shit out. Like there was a Mexican restaurant downtown. They were the only Mexican restaurant that had this soup called sopa de fideo. Like only my grandma, my aunt make that shit, and you can't find it at a restaurant. They had it there, and after a while they discontinued it. Like, what? I don't get it, man. This is
I hate that shit too, man.
You have to go back there and like fight them on it. Like
I was telling them, like, what's up with the sopa fideo? It wasn't really a big seller. I'm like, but you guys are the only restaurant in LA that I found that shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm vegan. Fuck it. I don't want the carb noodles. Like, keep that shit.
There's a place called Honora's. It's on Moore Park over the hill. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's family owned for 20 years. All vegan Mexican. It's fucking amazing, man.
You took me there when I was juicing. That was great.
I took you there with juicing too. Banging pizza, everything. I asked you last question about the clown. That's your final question.
Oh yeah.
Lenore's.
Lenore's,
yeah.
Okay.
It's on Moore Park.
It looked good.
It's banging. Ask a question about clowns.
Oh yeah. So I was noticing in the doc, the cartoons, tattoos, like the whole theme of like clowns.
Yeah.
And I didn't like what is that about? Like I never knew. Like I saw them a lot of like
in the culture, like where it came from.
Yeah.
He explains it the best, but there's a common like famous saying and artwork. It's called "Smile Now, Cry Later."
Yeah.
And it's one, it's the happy and sad faces or
like
tragedy and whatever they call it. But that's real big in our culture, that saying and those faces, Everybody has them tattooed on them. Everybody has like "Smile Now, Cry Later," or me, I because we were so into, our car club was so into classic rock,
right?
And when we lowride, like, everybody was playing hip hop or soul or oldies. In our car club, when we'd go to an event, you had to play classic rock.
That's
you
dope.
could play The Doors, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Janis Joplin, but it had to be from that era, and it had to be loud. And so for cool. me, I got the "Smile Now, Cry Later" tattoos with a girl, and then from Led Zeppelin, I put "Good Times, Bad Times" from the song.
That's dope.
So this side, she's smiling. This side, she's crying. And, I just flipped it up so that it went with our theme of our car club and stuff. But it's kind of like, putting on your game face. Mm-hmm. Don't show like a poker face,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no matter what, you're that guy, like if you're going into an enemy territory or whatever, you don't show no fear. Mm-hmm. You put that face on like, what, homie, I'm with it. I'm ready. I'm with it. Let's do this. And
I love that.
Throughout the years, it's just become like a iconic thing. Like there's a tattoo with a cross with the 3 lines, that goes over the cross.
Yeah.
There's that. There's like the 3 dots. There's,
right.
There's putting your old lady's name on you or your kids' names or, portrait of a loved one. Like it's all part of, the Guadalupe is a big, tattoo in the culture. So there's just certain iconic imagery that we have, and that's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, you know what else too is interesting too is canvas army belts that you wore with Dickies. We saw that growing up in the culture over here too, and that became an East Coast thing for vegans. Is that army belt? But out here you see people getting embroidered at the swap meet with letters on them, the crew, whatever on them. That was such a West Coast thing, but that became a New York thing too. Everybody rocked canvas belts, army belts with Dickies, and
we get that's West Coast. You get the initials of the like belt buckles, either your name or your gang name. You
right
in the belt buckle. Like if you were from a neighborhood, you'd have the letter of the name of your neighborhood.
Fucking amazing. And then you hang the belt down, you get a longer, hang it down, and have embroidery on. That's all West Coast, man.
That was huge.
Well, I appreciate you, dude. We covered so much, 2 hours, but let me check all my notes. Estevan, I appreciate you, man. This is
you
fucking
got the notes.
I have all my shit, dude.
Cool.
Hang out. LA Originals. We covered all that shit. Well, you were on Anthony Bourdain. That was sick. I remember that. Entourage, Carson Daly. You did shit with Cadillac, Nike. All the GQ photos you did. Producing photos with Cube, Method Man, Redman, Nate Dogg, Beastie Boys, Floyd Mayweather. I got all my shit, bro.
Yeah.
You did so much, and you did it all on your own, which I think is even more. I have so much respect for you. You just grinded on your own, and you found this thing that you love to do, and and you did a great job doing it, and became like you made it your life, dude. It's fucking, it's pretty. Barely making it out of high school too, and the fucking But it's awesome though.
It was all my, the drive that I had and my hustle. I was one of those guys that thought like if I want to make it to where I could buy my mom a house. Mm-hmm. And I ended up taking care of my mom, the last few years of her life. I was paying the mortgage every year,
dope, man.
Every month or whatever. So I, set that goal and I was able to, achieve it. So that felt pretty good, man. To be able to, come to that point.
You stayed on the path and went through all different changes of the industry and everything. And like you said, taking photos and doing videos and now doing documentary and like, it's all amazing, all self-taught, everything yourself. You did it yourself and just never stop grinding, man. It's super inspirational, man. I appreciate you and like everything you did for the culture and putting all the cultures together with skateboarding, punk rock, hip hop, all the videos you did, this connecting everyone. You capture that and live that, and it's awesome, man.
Thank you.
It's really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time today. And where can people find your stuff?
On my website or my IG, everything is under my name, Estevan Oriol. So I try to keep it simple,
Even the website's that too?
Yeah, I don't put the hashtags and the underscores and all that.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like some people have like, one chocolate bear, 72 or some shit like that with a underscore under fucking each letter or whatever. And you're like, man, how the fuck are you supposed to remember that shit? Just keep it. Like I like Paul Wall, or was it Paul Wall or Mike Jones? They said like no gimmicks, no something like that. Like no gimmick, real name.
Yeah, I like that too.
And I just thought like, man, that's the fucking shit right there. I'm just running with my own shit. It'll be easy to remember.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And easy
and to have
find.
That too, and have that because sometimes people take your name and shit.
Even on my IG, I just have my name. My website is my name. In the bio.
Smart.
And then I put the link to my merch site in the bio. And I still get people going, hey, what's your website?
I know, dude. It's fucking the worst,
what's
dude.
What's your merch site?
Yeah.
I go, just look by my icon picture.
Yeah.
And everything is there for you.
Like you branded yourself. You're a brand.
Yeah, I
It's
noticed
pretty amazing,
that
man.
you had to do that shit later on because I was a photographer. Nobody cared what a photographer looked like. But then, like, the digital era came out, and I don't know, selfies became like a big thing.
Yeah.
If you were a photographer, you'd take your picture with a celebrity if you shot one. But in my day, that was against the rules, you know? Like
pretty amazing, man.
You never got, like, how many photographers shot you guys backstage and were like, hey, can I get in the shot? You know, I want to take a picture with Sepultura, you know, like recently though, but not back in the day.
Not back then, dude.
No, not back in the day.
You had a film camera with a manual focus. Like, it was hard as fuck to take a selfie back then.
It was,
but with an automatic, digital camera, you just can, do that shit. But
that's so true.
Back in the day, you couldn't. That was like kind of against the rules.
Yeah.
But you persevered. Is that the word, persevere? Through the times, like you changed with the times, and my first shot and stayed relevant during the times.
My first shot with a celebrity was Tom Cruise.
Fuck.
And it was because I was doing a piece on A-Track.
Oh yeah.
The DJ for Kanye for Complex magazine, and I was like, hey, it was a day in the life of A-Track, and it was like a couple page story, and I was like, hey, fucking Tom Cruise came to the show. He goes, oh yeah, that's crazy. I go, how about we get a flick with you with him? And I took a picture with him, and I seen Kanye was like talking to somebody. We were backstage, the show was over, and I seen him looking at me, and I go, hey, Kanye, you want to get a flick? You want to get in a flick with Tom Cruise? He goes, hell yeah, let's do that. So I took a picture of A-Track with him. I took a picture of him with Kanye, and then all the people backstage. This is before social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I shot maybe 30 people with Tom Cruise backstage. Hey man, can I get in a shot? Can I get in a shot? Can I get in a shot? And
Tom Cruise is like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, what did I fucking do, man? I should have just said no. But then at the end, I was like, man, fucking, that's Tom Cruise. You know, everybody fucking already molested the fuck out of him. Why don't I just get one? And I told my homie that I was there. I think A-Track might have took the photo. I was like, hey, can you get a shot of me and Tom?
Shouldn't focus.
And and I got one of me and Tom, and then I was
sick.
Like,
nice.
You know, if the timing is right and the person's cool, and there's a moment where I think, you know, it would be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do it.
You didn't get one with De Niro and Pacino when you do work with them?
No.
Damn, bro.
That's one of the things where I felt like this time isn't right, and these
I'll
guys.
see you again. I'll get you. Yes.
No, not even that. It was like these are the guys you don't ask that shit to because they're so old school that ain't cool with them. You know, so
still get to work with them. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
man.
like that was enough for me.
Right.
Like, to be able to stand in the place with them and take a picture with them. I was straight.
It's insane, man.
Yeah,
that's really like, okay, I'm good. I this is like huge. Like
I told myself, I go, if something happens to me tomorrow, I made it. In my mind, I made it.
I shot Pacino? Fuck.
The two biggest dudes in my head as far as when I was growing up, things that I looked up to. I'm like, that's it.
Is there somebody you wanted to shoot but never got to shoot?
Good question.
Like at this point?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
You have like a list?
Yeah, list.
Bucket list.
Yeah, I want to, I'd like to shoot, Harvey Keitel because he's from that crew.
What a G.
Fucking
top 5, right?
Scorsese.
Top 5, yeah.
Joe Pesci, Willem Dafoe, Christopher Walken.
We got it right here.
I got De Niro,
You got Dennis Hopper?
Dennis Hopper. So there's like that era of men that I would like to get.
Yeah.
And then, there's other people, there's other women, there's younger people, like it'll never stop because there's always great talent coming out, great artists coming through.
But you can make all that happen if you wanted to. You could definitely get that happen.
Yeah.
But you don't seem like a guy who will go after that. If it happens, it happens. You're not going to sweat people for that shit.
Yeah, I have a hard time sweating people for stuff because I just feel so weird asking people. Because
I love
people
that,
ask me shit all the time, and I'm like, man, this motherfucker's really thinking I can do some crazy shit here.
Eminem guest list +5.
Right. So for me to ask, like, hey, because I have asked people for stuff and they never can come through, but they're like, hey man, I kick it with homeboy all the time, and I'm like, yeah. Like, would you ever want to shoot him? I go, yeah, if you could make it happen. I'm not going to break your balls or nothing. But, and he goes, come on, bro. Like, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we play golf every day. I kick it with him all the time. That's my boy. Okay, cool. If you can hook it up, go ahead. Hey, whatever happened with that shoot with homeboy? Oh man, he's been real busy.
Okay.
Cool. A couple months later, did you ever hit homeboy up? I just wanted to test it to see,
Yeah.
like because they were putting a lot on it. That's my boy. That's my people. That's my guy. It's my homie. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see. Show me. It fucking never came through. It was all, they say the Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah.
It was all that and a bag of chips.
That sucks.
The vegan ones.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here, man. I really do mean a lot. And just seeing your journey and meeting you back then and continue being a friend with you, all your success. I'm super happy for you, man.
Thank you, brother. Hell yeah.
Thanks for being here, Derek Green.
Word up.
For your assistance. And dude, I want to take you to Little Pine. You been to Little Pine?
No.
We take Little Pine vegan spot.
It's great.
It's like over by Silver Lake area.
Amazing place.
Yeah. There's a lot of spots. Yeah, I'll definitely get you some information on it.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
All right, thanks to all the listeners. And okay, we out of here.
Peace.
Bye, Brett. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.